Hey guys, welcome back to the ASL Qualifiers. This is day one, part two. Of course, the qualifiers are so long that it is broken into a couple of parts on each day. But we're going to go into Group G to start off here. And this is a very interesting bracket when you look at it. So a lot of these players up here, these are like lower level amateurs that we're not as interested in. But Zero playing, aka Queen. And look at this. This is very strange to me because Mong is a really strong macro Terran. Okay, like Mong is actually one of the better mechanical Terran players, but he's always struggled against Zerg. That's always been his weak point, why he hasn't done as well in tournaments as people might have thought. But he has 2-0'd Zero, aka Queen. And the thing is, it's not like this season does have some anti-Zerg maps, but they are not these maps. Right? These are fine maps. Like, these are just well-balanced maps for the qualifier. So this is very impressive from Mong. The fact that he has defeated Queen. He's moved into the finals of this qualifier bracket. And Queen did have some more difficult seasons lately. Honestly, I thought he was in great shape for last season. I think he did show that. He ended up losing to Best in the round of 8. So I do think that Queen will get through tomorrow. But for now, he is out. Looking at the bottom portion of the bracket, this is also very interesting. Yabsab is one of those guys that continues to be a top-end amateur player. Yabsab, you know, he's someone like HM, like Beast, a player like this where it's like, okay, he's not really an ASL player yet, but super, super close. So we're going to assume that he made it up here against Piano, and Piano was able to take him out. Piano, a.k.a. Oregon. I'm very surprised about this. Also, down at the bottom, we see Baby here. This is TY, okay? The StarCraft 2 legend. Obviously, he was a very strong StarCraft 1 pro. He's been playing very well, but Piano 2-1s him. And that is very impressive. I wish I could go and watch this series because I think TY is actually significantly better than Piano. Piano, for the most part, has been very cheesy for the last few years. He's actually a very smart player. Piano was like, he was peaking way far back, and he's been in some ASLs, but he's kind of one of these older generation players that I don't expect to ever make it back in. So the fact that he's in the finals of a TVT against Mong is pretty impressive, especially after taking out TY, who I think is actually has potential to be like a round of 8 player in ASL, and maybe even better if he really focuses on the practice. Like, I actually think TY is the smartest StarCraft 2 player in the history of the game. And bringing that back to StarCraft 1, we've already seen some brilliance from him in ASL. Unfortunately, he won't be making it this time, so we're going to go into Mong versus Piano. And, I think it is Mong favored, but we'll see. Let's get into it. All right, we are actually in map 3. This is Polestar. So tied up 1-1 right now. This will decide who makes it into the ASL. Very exciting stuff. We have Piano here, or Oregon, in the top left. And in the top right, we have Mong. Again, I think Mong is a bit favored, but the fact that Piano already has a win. Okay, well, okay. Do you see what he's doing here? This is literally exactly how Oregon always plays, and why I said I was kind of surprised he beat TY. Because, like, once you recognize how someone plays and they play like this, it shouldn't be that hard to beat them when you're at that pro level. Like, here's the thing. I already know Piano plays like this. I actually played him in a qualifier. He did the same thing to me, and I lost to it, right? But I mean, he's a pro. He's a really high-end player, so not too surprising there. But yeah, like, that's here's the thing too. I think like a lot of the pros actually don't watch each other. You know, being a commentator for how long have I even been a commentator? I've been commentating stuff since like 2007, I guess, right? Yeah, I think that's when I started commentating. So that's a long time, but I have definitely noticed over the years that pros don't actually pay attention to the styles of their opponents very often. Like, I'll go into matches knowing what someone's going to do, and their opponent plays right into it. It's like, well, I mean, don't you watch other people play and take note that they always do the same thing? Anyways, I mean, this is how Oregon generally plays. He always does things like forward 8 racks. Here he's going to be obviously going into a factory. So he's going to be doing some sort of marine rush, whether it's going to be very highly aggressive or, trying to make a bunker at the natural. There's a few different ways you can play it. Obviously, if he catches something like a command center first or a barracks expansion, this can get him a huge lead. But against factory expansion, which is what it looks like Mong is doing here, basically, if you go factory before you expand, the win rate of 8 racks is incredibly low. I can't really stress that enough. It is incredibly low. And I've mentioned a few times in my commentary and just, in general, that I have actually done the stats on TVT openers because I got so frustrated in the matchup. And if 8 racks openers don't hit specifically gasless expansion or, the command center first, the win rate goes to like 10% on them. Like, it is awful. You're really looking to catch your opponent. Now, he actually gets up here and catches his first Marine pretty darn well. Yeah, okay, he actually gets the kill on the first Marine. So there's potential for damage here. Let's see. The factory's still being made. 3 Marines coming out. Get some good damage on that Marine. You just have to get a Vulture out. If you get a Vulture out, this is basically done. But sometimes you'll see the Marines actually pulled back and a bunker made on the low ground, which can be a good move as well. But the window for that's almost gone because already the Vulture is being made, and the Vulture and the bunker have the same build time. So he starts the bunker. Here comes Mong with a lot of SCVs, just getting a bit of damage. He just needs to reduce the Marine count a little bit for when the Vulture pops out. And there it is. So that is going to be held. And I think that this shows you exactly what I was talking about, where it's like, look at the numbers. 18 SCVs against 15 here. So obviously that is a big advantage towards Mong. He's got his factory up. He's got a Vulture out before his opponent has a Vulture, so you can't really follow up with any damage. Looking very good for Mong. Oregon is doing the most common follow-up, which is you go Vultures and you make a Wraith with this. But if you just make Vultures pretty steadily here as Mong and make a command center, generally you get really, really far ahead. Now, the SCV from Mong going up to scout, he hides the second Vulture, he hides the SCV coming down. And the barracks flying over, of course, he can see what there is for his opponent, and there's no opportunity here for Oregon as of yet. There are 2 Marines, and I'm very interested to see. Notice how he just keeps making Vultures? Like, he already saw 1 Vulture from his opponent. The one thing you have to be a little bit nervous about is like, okay, is there a world in which he makes a siege tank here? Probably not. That's really not a good follow-up. But he's made 4 Vultures. He's going for a bunker because, Mong knows that right now he is definitely ahead. Second factory going up. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get an armory really, really quickly here. It's pretty rare to go armory before second factory because your production is so low and they take the same amount of time. So it's like, what are you going to skip a siege tank to make a Goliath? That doesn't sound right. So he should be starting an armory by now. It's very, very normal. A Vulture gets in while Piano has nothing at home. Tries to attack in with his 4 against these 3, and obviously that's never, ever going to work. Just not, like, I'm surprised how much he's actually already done getting on top of that ramp, but yeah, not looking very good. Does pick off the SCV, making that factory, and that's a kind of late armory. I'm surprised he didn't make it quicker. Like, this is a very common follow-up to 8 racks to go for the Wraith. So I do think he probably should have started that earlier, but it doesn't feel like there's any real potential here for Oregon, because he hasn't even started his command center yet. Even though he's killing some SCVs, he's ahead on workers right now. This still doesn't look all that good for him. He does have another Wraith coming over, so like damage can definitely stack up a little bit with these Wraiths, but when you're producing 2 SCVs at a time, it's not something to really be too afraid of. Now, he does kill off that Marine and can utilize this Wraith a little bit more. He's got about 4 kills with the Wraiths. And the armory finishes. So in 25 seconds, we're going to have a Goliath out. In the meantime, some Vultures going to move across the map. His opponent already spent a lot of Vultures, so there's nothing really to be afraid of with these. I'm not sure what the upgrade is that's on the way. I would imagine that it's Mines. Mines feels best. But yeah, we see Cloak coming up. Honestly, in this type of situation, you could probably even go Engineering Bay. In fact, that might be the best move, to just throw down like 2 or 3 missile turrets and just be done with the Wraiths bothering you. Obviously, he's going to want to get some detection as well mobily. And all right, so here we go. Mong laying down a few mines here. And, well, I mean, those mines actually didn't do very well. He was actually trying to get like a tank or something. I think it would have been, like, obviously if you hit the tank, it's amazing. But in this type of situation, maybe just laying the mines out in front and making a hard path for your opponent to go through makes more sense. Command Center gets started here for Oregon. He is up a couple SCVs still, but a Command Center has a 75-second build time. Okay, and an SCV is 13 seconds. So the amount of SCVs that can be made out of 2 command centers in that time, there's no question Mong is going to pull ahead as far as SCV count goes. And then you got to float the command center down, and that's going to take some additional time. Very, very rough. Now, Comstat on the way, he is killing as many SCVs as he can get at the moment. Got to pull out of here before that Comstat finishes. Okay, the one at the natural finishes first. So he's going to get at least 1 kill here. And he's gonna get 2 kills. This is actually a perfect example of how 8-Racks games look. Because you look at this, right, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, look, it's 25 workers to 31. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, no, seriously, this is basically, even with all the flaws and running into mines and stuff, this is how 8-Racks games generally look. It's like your opponent blocks it, and even if you're doing a pretty good job with it, they're blocking it really well, and now they've got more units, and their expansion is faster, and they've been mining for more patches for longer. Oregon has done slightly better than I thought he would with it, to be honest. Like, that's what it feels like to me, is he did slightly better. Like, the SCV count, he's kind of kept in line with where he wants. But his factories are going to be a little bit later and everything. There's a better map position here for Mong. Not that it's that powerful yet. Piano definitely needs to think about trying to break out of there. You might look at this and say, well, what about like a dropship or something? The thing is that if you try to go for something like a dropship here, things could go wrong, right? Like if you're spending too much money on these technical units, it's like, yeah, okay, you've gotten a decent amount of SCVs throughout the course of the game, but the map control is actually in many ways more important. Like having actual control of the map in Terran versus Terran is more valuable than resources for the most part, because your cost efficiency in these positions gets unbelievably good. Now, this is smart from Oregon. You can see how intelligent he is. Like, he's moving up SCVs because he doesn't have good spotting for this. And right now with the barracks, when you see the barracks floating like this, you know that your opponent is trying to push the siege tanks forward to break down your siege tanks, because siege tanks fire further than they can see. So you need air support or scans or suiciding a unit in for that. So he brings up his Cloaked Wraith, and that's going to sit there, deal a bit of damage to the barracks, but mostly this is just for spotting. Double starport coming up for Mong, which is not that bad. Like, I think it's actually slightly overly fancy, but it will really shut down, like, if his opponent is trying to go drop ships, this would absolutely crush, and it'll force some gas to be spent on Goliaths, which is not what you want. So not too bad, although in my opinion, I think it's slightly stronger to go for like more tanks and just kind of like make it impossible for your opponent. But yeah, the Wraith, switching into Wraiths against someone who went Wraith is maybe the freest win that TVT has. Like, I mean, everyone does it from time to time where it's like, okay, I'm just going to blindside him. And it's a good feeling. You know, you make like 8 Wraiths and then you just fly in 6 or 8 Wraiths and your opponent doesn't have anything that shoots air. And it's like, okay, I win, GG, you know, and generally people leave. Like we already saw on the first part of the day 1 qualifiers, that exact thing happened in the TVT. What was that? That was Rush versus Haya. That's right. Yeah. Where he just like flew out with some Wraiths and Haya's like, yep, that's it. You know, you're taking a risk by not making the anti-air, but yeah, such is life. Now, a few vultures running out here from Oregon. You can see that he is so massively contained right now. It's really an issue. A few mines being laid. So he's going to try to slow down reinforcements, which again, a good play. A little siege forward here is going to be able to pick off 2 tanks. Yeah, Oregon is completely falling apart at this point. And again, this is exactly what 8-Racks games look like. This is why things like Command Center First and Gases Expansion are so strong, because the builds that actually hard counter them suck against everything else. like really badly. But, you know, the thing is, like, if you're actually, like, really better than your opponent, you're more likely to come back from an 8 racks against factory expansion than you are with, like, a safety build against a command center first. If that makes sense. That I've never said this out loud, but like that, I would say that is the case. Like if you're quite a bit better than your opponent, like both are doable if you're quite a bit better, obviously. But just the macro deficit that you can be in against command center first can be pretty crazy at times. Whereas you can kind of finagle a victory out of this type of position more easily because there's like more moving parts. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments if you understand what I'm saying here. But it's kind of like when people ask why mech isn't used more against Zerg. It's like, well, there's not many moving parts, right? How do you outplay your opponent when you have exactly like one move out timing and they know what it is? Or, you know, maybe there's 2 possibilities or something like that. But it's just like there's not as much going on. The more different things that are going on at one time, the more a better player can outplay someone else. Okay, anyways, a couple dropships going up, but he has a fair amount of wraiths. They're way out of position. Ooh, very good mine. So those mines actually end up doing their job. A little run by on these vultures. I don't know if I like this paired with the dropships because that's going to force units back immediately, and he's dropping at the same time. So units were already on their way back. But here's the drop. The main base not going to do all that well. These 4 Goliaths are going to make it so SCVs can't clear this, so that's nice. And Wraiths can't clear it either. He's going to have to bring up his own siege tanks. In the meantime, Mong is trying to break through here, and I think it's pretty likely. He has a really big army, but this move from Oregon is doing really, really well. You know, if those Wraiths had been in position, this never would have happened, but he found an opening where the Wraiths were not in position. Tries to bring in these Wraiths now. Gonna bring up vultures as well to try to help clear. And yeah, with the siege tanks, he will be able to get rid of this. The drop from Oregon did do pretty well, though. You can see the supplies are like kind of reasonable, but supplies don't tell the tale. What tells the tale is this row of siege tanks out here. And now he knows dropships are out. So like at this point, you keep making some wraiths and you kind of keep an eye on where the dropships are. That's one of the main things that you want to do here. So yeah, not a good position here for our old Terran player. So the Wraith's going to be hunting for these dropships. Oh gosh, this might be game. Killing off these dropships, there's literally nothing left. It's fine to sacrifice the Wraiths. Honestly, he should have just killed the dropship, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, he's getting so far ahead right now. You notice he's kind of expanding towards his opponent. That actually makes sense in this situation because you're probably going to want to add like a couple missile turrets. You're kind of like, it almost zones them out from killing moves. Like, yeah, maybe he can drop that and get it, but it keeps him away from the natural and main base where like critical damage can happen. And it's like a more forward position for you to deal with his shenanigans. Now, he finds a command center down here at 9. Gonna try to bomb out some SCVs. Absolutely doesn't work. And, okay, this is the end of the game. So GG, yeah, there it is. GG, Mong advances to the ASL. All right, so on to Group I. Taking a look here, already some pretty big upsets. This is a big upset right here. Sky taking down Action. Now, Sky has been pretty active for a while, and he is in very good shape. But to take out Action, who has been one of the most consistent Zerg players in the world for quite some time, that's impressive. That's really impressive. And then you look down to this part of the bracket, and we had Killer go through up into this finals, which is not a big surprise. Killer, aka Baxter, does generally very well. He's a very underrated Zerg. Just not, I think he's not very popular, but he's obviously a very strong Zerg that's been in a lot of times. His opponent's not as strong. Mocha, I actually don't know. Kasu, I definitely do. I've seen this guy a lot. He ladders a ton, and he's pretty strong, but nowhere near the pro level. So Killer went up to this match and was able to 2-0 Sky, who was able to 2-1 Action. So that's kind of interesting. I really would like to see the Sky versus Action match. I'm kind of sad we don't get more coverage of these qualifier games. Now, looking down at the bottom bracket, I I would have loved to see this match, actually. Alan has been an up-and-coming player for years and years and years. Like, watching him improve has been fascinating. When Remastered came out, I used to hit this guy all the time, and then he just started beating me more and more and more. And now he's like a 2,700 MMR Zerg. He's just been working very hard. Seems like a talented player. So it's great to see him jumping into these tournaments. And, you know, obviously not enough this time. Midas, one of the older pros that still plays actively, did make it up to Zealot, but Zealot, unfortunately, looks like he did fall over here. I guess we don't have his name written in. I'll do it for him. Here we go. There we go. Zealot. We don't know how many maps he won, but he was able to take out Midas, which is not a big surprise. The older school Terran players, I think, have a hard time with someone like Zealot, who bases his play off of like extremely good micro and extremely sharp play, right? Like it's a difficult thing to deal with in this turn rate 24 world that we live in. But great job by Zealot. I actually really want Zealot to get into ASL. I think he makes the tournament better, so I hope he gets through tomorrow, but it's tough when you play that aggressively. Looking at the bottom part, Barracks getting all the way up here, no big surprise. Barracks is probably going to be our next big Terran in the world. He's been improving so much lately, it's insane. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have Killer against Barracks in this finals. It's a really good match overall. Like, Barracks definitely has more hype around him, but you can't underestimate Killer. He's just like, he's such a quiet player that we don't think about. But in some of these ASLs, he's given us some of the stronger Zerg games. So I have a lot of respect for Killer and what he's capable of. I do think Barracks is a little bit stronger and definitely, you know, very much more popular. So let's get into Group I and see who's going to make it into the ASL. All right, so we are on Radeon. This is map number 1. In the bottom left, we have Killer, and in the top left, we have Barracks. Yeah, this is a really solid qualifying match. I feel bad because there's like a few players that are pretty regular in ASL that get absolutely no love, and Killer really is one of them. I'm not sure exactly how many seasons he's been in, but he's had seasons where I thought he put out like some of the best games. Saxry is another player very much like that. Like, Saxry and Killer have way over-delivered compared to how much people seem to like them. Barracks, on the other hand here, like, he has gotten so much better lately. Like, he was kind of like a brainless mechanical Terran, and he used to get like build orders from like Flash and stuff, and you know, he's obviously been working really hard, but like, he's really starting to come into his own. I think last season he showed us really great games, and he outperformed what I thought he was going to be able to do, and I've kind of really got my eye on him now. You know, I heard this about pros a long time ago, like some coaches. When I moved to Korea, they let me know, because I always thought, like, you know, well, the thing is, I guess everyone's kind of biased by their own experiences, right? But like, for me personally, I've always kind of been like more of a cognitive player. I think about the strategy more, and I've always, you know, had a harder time mechanically. And I've always thought, well, you know, work on the mechanics and continue to get better, and that's a great path. But in general, in the Korean scene, they looked at it a different way. If you were naturally kind of fast and thus a little bit better at mechanics, those were the higher value pickups for the pro teams, where it's like, okay, this guy's really fast, we can teach him how to play right. And the biggest name that you can look at and say, oh, this is one of those players, is Jaydong. Jaydong, you know, obviously one of the most accomplished players of all time at this point, he was so fast and so like mechanically strong that they just picked him up and they're like, yeah, we'll teach him how to play, and they did, and he became one of the greatest of all time. So it's like, oh, okay, it's such an interesting thing. So many things in the Korean scene are looked at completely different than the foreigner scene. For instance, if you're way better than someone in the foreigner scene, you know, this scene outside of Korea, generally the thought process is, well, you play a longer game, you give your opponent more chances to make mistakes, and you give yourself more chances to play better. In the Korean scene, they look at it as, you know, it's better to do something more aggressive and make your opponent make a mistake. It's just, I find this stuff really, really fascinating. And I don't think necessarily one is completely right and one is completely wrong, but You know, obviously the Korean players have been by far the strongest StarCraft players forever. So, yeah, just something to think about in this early game that we have here. So Barracks here has taken a fast expansion, gotten a very fast gas. We can see that he started an engineering bay in the top left. So this should be a 4 Barracks +1 build to keep some pressure on Killer. Killer, in the meantime, it just looks like a regular 2-hatch layer opener. And yeah, nothing to write home about so far, right? These are very, very standard builds going at it. I will find it interesting to see. Ooh, really nice by Killer, trying to stay on top of this SCV, not let it in. But I will find it interesting to see how both of them play this position. I thought we had such an excellent game earlier in the tournament. Yeah, Hero vs. Sock. Hero vs. Sock, if you guys recall, yesterday from Group B, where Sock tried to go for the 4 Barracks +1 and Hero got like really fast lurker. It was like some really interesting decisions on both sides, and then Sock recognized his bad position, tried to go mass dropship. Right? Like, this is part of the reason why I don't really like the +1 builds. The +1 builds will get you a lot of wins easier than any other build other than, you know, like a proxy Barracks play. But at the same time, if your opponent is really competent and recognizes what's going on, the later tech that you get with a build like this feels like you're at a bit of a detriment. So how they're going to go about playing this position is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Like, does Barracks want to do, like, really heavy, like, attack in? Now, look at that. That I didn't expect. So that's not exactly harder to scout, but that's a less common expansion. Bottom right main or bottom right natural are the two expansions you would normally see in these positions. Okay, and then you have some really out there ones, like top right third base would be like an insane one. 12 o'clock would be an insane one, right? 12 o'clock would be specifically, that's like if you're going Guardian Rush, that's the spot you'd probably want to go to. Now, this position, you're making it so your 4th base is much more difficult to get once your opponent has map control. So what does this mean? Well, it probably means something more aggressive. Easier to defend that base with your units because of the travel distance. But because you are not taking another base that leads into an easier 4th base, which both the bottom right main and the bottom right natural would do, yeah, like we might, for instance, this could be like a crazy Zerg opener. That would make sense. This could be, he could have like a quick tech switch. It could be a Guardian Rush. Any of those kind of make sense a little bit. Obviously, being on a high ground right there, like he can do something like defend with only Sunken there. This could be like a Mutila's Skull, and I'd be really surprised about that. That's really not a popular build right now. Anyways, we'll see what Killer wants to do with that base, but that is a fascinating 3rd base that we're seeing. So he's taking this gas. It probably will take a little bit to scout that for Barracks. Like, that's probably the 3rd base you would scout. And, you know, you have limited scans as well, and you also want to check the natural to see what's being produced. It's like, oh, are we going for a lurker switch yet? Are we still making mutiling? Are we making drones? Like, in general, when you're playing Terran vs. Zerg early game, you're scanning the natural more than anywhere else. But you will look for bases occasionally like that. Okay, so a lot of mutas flying up. He does have the 3 gases mining, not that much minerals, but really focusing on that gas mining at the moment. And where did he scan? Okay, so see, notice how he's scanning the natural. He's just kind of checking what's being made. Okay, what's the drone counts? Do we have lings sitting there? Do we have mutas flying out? And, you know, oftentimes that's like where the rally point is. So it's just like, it's a very powerful place to scan for maximum information. Okay, another scan. I'd love for them to check that. Please, please, please. No? Okay. My guess is he scanned bottom right, but very hard to say. All right, so right now, Killer is dogging Barracks Marines. That was a funny scan. I think he thought maybe there's an Overlord right there, and maybe the mutas were coming back in, and if the mutas were already coming back in and he does that scan, he probably kills 1 extra muta. As it turns out, that gamble scan didn't work out for him. But yeah, continuing to push forward. You can see, like, very good control here from Barracks, no question. He's keeping a straight flat line against the mutas, which is exactly what you want. He's got the critical mass right now of like 20 plus Marines, 4 or 5 medics, plus 1 range stim. All that put together makes a very, very strong army. And Killer hasn't really made any sunkens, so he is under threat of death here. This is looking really good for Barracks at the moment. Killer needs to bring everything he's got. So he's going to bring those in, and he's going to dive completely. Oh, man. Okay, well, he does have enough to clear this, but there's another big group of Marines coming. I actually don't know if there's medics with it. Okay, 1 medic with it, so it's not quite as strong. And this is kind of a little bit Sulky-esque, the way he's like, no, I'm just going to kill the army. We used to call this style like Sauron Zerg, not really anymore, but yeah, just utilizing mass units to kill what your opponent's doing, no static T. But yeah, Sulky has gotten really good at army crushing, and that's kind of what we just saw from Killer. His drone count isn't wretched. He's at 25 drones against 38 SVs. It's like, okay, I mean, definitely a playable position, but... And he has killed a lot of Marine medic, but he had to spend a ton of money on these Mutalisks. So what happens next here? I really want to see, is he going to start a hive now? Are we going to rush into lurkers? I think he needs to do both. So he has the lurker upgrade going. I'm looking at the main, and I don't see a queen's nest as far as the shape on the minimap. Nothing that looks like it's a queen's nest, which would be... Oh, you know what this might be, actually? There is an older style that was really popular, like 2 years ago, I want to say, something like that. But like there was this older style where you'd go heavy muta, and then you'd make a bunch of lurkers run up and contain, because it's very rare to go add-on your factory. So if you do that and your opponent is kind of stuck in their main base, that turns into a win really, really quickly. But there's Valkyries out now. This changes the math a lot. The mutas are going to be much less worthwhile. So he turns the Valkyries away just in case there. This is a scary move out. He better have some lurkers morphing out in the front. I don't think he does, though. No, it's just Lings out there. The lurker upgrade should be done right now. Oh, this is so scary. Oh, is he going to just threaten counterattack? Okay, so he does have a few morphing, but they're out of position. Oh, boy. Okay, he sees some of the eggs, but the damage is going to be pretty intense. Okay, diving on the barracks. Not a bad play here, actually, from Killer. I can't really fault him for this idea, but another Valkyrie comes out, which is going to ruin his time. A lot of damage being dealt by Barracks. The lurkers are going to be a little bit late. Oh, my God. He's going base trade. He's going base trade. Oh, it's a good idea. I think Barracks wins this position, but I'm not actually 100% on that. Does he have 4 Marines in that bunker? He needs to bring every SCV to the bunker to repair. Like, the bunker has to hold. Yeah, see? Okay, he did have 4, but when he ejected them, only 2 got back in, and all the... Oh, my God, this is crazy! Oh, my God! Killer with 3 lurkers in the main base will clear this out. He killed everything on top of the barracks, so the mutas still have some value. He's forced a lift off here. Look at the barracks come back. Tail between its legs, going home to make some siege tanks to try to break out of this, because you will never break out of that with Marines. Holy crap, he loses his natural, but he is completely fine. He is completely fine. Killer is winning this game with 14 drones. Oh my God. What a game. Okay, so it's not over yet. I wouldn't suggest... Yes, I love the Wraiths. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. This is so awesome. I think the Wraiths are a great choice here. He's got multiple Valkyries. Supply block as hard as you can, and sometimes you can end up using the Wraiths to help push back lurkers. Sometimes. It's a crazy, weird thing, but occasionally in these really weird, super low economy areas, just having anything that can hit the lurkers without taking damage can be useful, especially when you've already kind of forced your opponent out of air units with the Valkyries. Okay, he's floating the command center down. I actually, well, as long as he's making, wait, he's making dropships. It might have actually been better here to land the command center and make a comm sat, but okay, he just did a scan. That's a funny position for Lurker Ling, by the way. Those might be on hold position trying to catch him ferrying units out. But he saw that, and look at where he's ferrying the units out. Oh my God, this is such a high-level game. This is like the sleeper game of the qualifiers right now. Killer versus Barracks game 1. Absolutely insane. Dude, what a move. Look at this. Brings the Scourge up too. Chills again. My most chilled game of the qualifiers. Dude, this is so good. Okay, he's going to try to shove the ramp before a massive siege tank gets made. And he's going to blow up everything. Killer's got this. Killer's got this. You blow up this bunker, and then what do you do from there? He's trying to get some dropships out. Okay, well, hold on. No, this small... Wait, maybe. Holy crap. Oh, my God, this is insane. Who is going to win this? This is like a legitimate base trade right now. Here's a funny thing. Guys, I don't know if you knew this, but Terran buildings can fly. So if he can somehow... Yeah, Killer going back into Mutas here is exactly like the 500 IQ move. Like, you need to have something super mobile that can hit air. Oh my God, the 2 Marines are actually killing all the Mutas as well. And notice how he's making Wraiths. Like, right now, it's just about, like, making sure that you have air control because everything in the main base is basically gone. Like, Barracks can't save his main, I don't think. Oh, that's... I can't believe he made that up there. Is Barracks going to win this? Dude, if he had even 1 missile turret, I'd feel so much better about his position. Oh, he uses that scan. That's his last scan. Oh, he can land and make another scan. Is he making a scan there? Yeah! Oh, my God. Is he going to win? This is the craziest game. You're not beating this game in these qualifiers. This is by far the best game that we've seen yet. By miles. Oh, my God. Okay, so he's going to get another scan. He's going to clear that, and I think the game is Barracks' now. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Oh my God, GG, unbelievable game number 1. Okay, we're going into game number 2. It doesn't even matter what happens. It could be 2 4 pools, and this is still the best series of the tournament so far. Unbelievable game 1. I can't believe that. I thought 100% that Barracks was going to win it. Then I thought 100% Killer was going to win it, and then Barracks came back. Unbelievable base trade. I can't believe it because, like, the first attempt at ferrying out with the dropships really didn't work, and then it looked like the second was going to work, and then he finally got the Marines into the main base, and all the lurkers were up at the other base, and it was just like, what a game. 1 in a million right there. Unbelievable play from Killer. Like, this, both these guys should be in ASL based on that game. That was just, it was brilliant. Brilliant move after brilliant move. Wow. All right, we're in game 2 here on Metropolis. Obviously, Barracks leads 1-0, or maybe it's not even that obvious. You know, not really sure what we're going to be looking at for this game. Maybe something really similar, maybe not. Hope that you guys are enjoying the ASL qualifiers. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, put down a comment. It all helps for the channel and StarCraft to grow, especially in this Western scene. Big thanks to everyone who has subscribed in the past. And if you are interested, I do have a Patreon. You can check it out at patreon.com/Artosis. A link will be in the description as well. Big thanks to everyone who has subscribed over there on the Patreon, helping out with the channel. It is highly appreciated. And yeah, you know, my favorite time of year, ASL time. Can't believe it's already back upon us. And these qualifiers already really, really great. Some crazy upsets as well. You know, let's not forget that Bisu got eliminated. You know, we have some other very strong players that have not made it through as well. But I guess that's the big elimination. Oh yeah, Queen as well. How wild was that? And then some other, you know, players, Sock didn't make it through, and you know, Larva is trying and is in good shape and didn't make it through. Oh, I mean, getting a bracket with Mini, that's insane. That's not right. You shouldn't have like multiple ASL champions in the same bracket, right? There's not that many of them, so that seems a little bit silly. But a lot of great players we haven't seen as of yet, and I'm looking forward to that. So a scout comes up. He actually sees this is a very, very fast layer, 251. That's a very fast layer. So yeah, Killer is really optimizing to get his Mutalisks out quickly. A couple Marines coming over to pressure. Pretty common move, but he'll just turn them around. You know, I mean, this is something I wouldn't suggest you copy at home, but as you get really, really good, you can do these funny little Marine move outs that don't even look like they're doing anything, but it might cause like 2 more lanes to be made instead of 1 more drone. SCV just barely getting out of there for now. The Marines are actually coming up to try to meet those Zerglings and keep the SCV alive, but Killer's microing the Lings really well and getting maximum hits. Ooh, he just gets it. Just gets it out of there. All right, +1 once again here. Academy on the way. So same build from Barracks. He'll be going for those 4 Raxes. Trying to think here. I don't know if I like it 2 times in a row, but okay. I'm down. Let's see it. Gets that +1 attack going. As far as Killer goes, obviously he's going to have like very quick Mutalisks here. Don't forget that he played like an Army Crush style. He didn't rely on any Sunkens. There wasn't a single Sunken colony made that game. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it. Like, would I have preferred to see Sunken colonies? No, I guess not. Like, the way he played it was really good. Like, he had that very close by third. He really made a lot of Mutalisks really, really quickly off that third gas, was able to trade out, and, like, he should have won the game. Well, I mean, so should have Barracks, and so should have Killer. Like, they both got themselves into winning positions, like, multiple times. But, like, when you can put out a game like that where you don't need Sunkens, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Like, I think the theory behind the style, if you nail it, like, perfectly, is probably just the best, right? The thing is, obviously, there's times you need Sunkens, especially against these +1 rushes. And I like the way Hero did it, too, where he went for a very, very fast Lurker upgrade. I think for me personally, that's the scariest thing to play against, where I'm like, oh, man, all my tech is slightly slower. He's got his Lurkers up. And as soon as that Lurker upgrade finishes, you know it's nothing but drones being made. It's like, I can't even put pressure on right now. And that's the main thing about playing against Zerg, is you have to keep that pressure on. All right, so the mutas are making right now. He got that scan off just right in time. It'll be interesting. Does he make a turret or a bunker? He goes for bunker here at the depots. I think that that's superior to a turret there, but some people prefer the turret. And, of course, he's got to make a few turrets around here and there. It's actually kind of funny. Like, Metropolis, you have a lot of area that you could build turrets behind your mineral patches, but generally it's better in between the minerals and SCVs like you do on normal maps. And, yeah, that's where he's going to place it. If you put them behind, there's no chance for repair, and, like, yeah, they zone the mutas out, so it takes longer to kill SCVs in a way, but it doesn't seem to work as well. I thought, like, I was trying it a lot when this map came out, because we don't have many maps where there's a lot of buildable terrain behind the minerals at the natural. But yeah, this works better, what he's doing. So he's got 3 there. You should have a couple in the main. Yeah, those are more of zoning turrets. You can fly past those. Yeah, and that's what Killer's going to do. So the zoning turrets, you're actually almost hoping your opponent plays in a weaker manner. And Killer said no to that. So he flies by. He actually gets a fair amount of SCVs. 22 SCVs against 25 drones. If he holds this Marine push, like, he's on top of things. Oops, loses a muta there. This is actually, I kind of like this for Killer. That was a great snipe on the Overlord, though. Damn, Barracks. Really good control today from him. Really excellent control. Whoa! 2 mutas picked off there. Dude, he's killed 5-6 mutas. Oh, my God. Really excellent targeting. Really superb. Oh, this is a heartbreaker. This is a heartbreaker. This is a game where if you have 2 Sunkens, you'd probably win. GG. Barracks ties it up. Okay, sorry, I misspoke there. Of course, Barracks didn't tie it up 1-1. It was so in my head that Killer played so well in game 1, but Barracks finishes off 2-0. Kind of a heartbreaker there for Killer. Hopefully, he'll be able to make it in tomorrow. But we are going into Group J, we did already visit Group J for the Nada versus Jaydong match, which of course Jaydong did take down 2-0. We only got to cast one of those games. The bracket seems like it's filled in a little bit better here. So yeah, Harangi took out Motive 2-0, which is pretty impressive. Harangi going up against Jaydong. Jaydong is like really way better than Harangi. I think Motive would have a better chance against Jaydong than Harangi. Motive actually has very strong Protoss for Zerg, whereas Harangi is he's really kind of much better at Protoss versus Terran, Protoss versus Protoss. I actually think he has, out of all the top end pros, he has, in my opinion, probably second worst Protoss versus Zerg most of the time. I've definitely seen very strong Protoss versus Zerg games out of him. But like him in movie, I'm kind of like, oh man, I don't have any faith in you guys beating top Zergs. But who knows? We'll see. I think Jaydong is really, really strong Zerg versus Protoss. He's definitely shown that a lot. And he's been in really good shape lately. Like not quite championship shape, but like I feel like he can beat any Zerg, any Protoss, and the technical Terrans. Whereas you give him someone like Light, and he's going to fall apart, I think. But other than that, he's playing very well. So yeah, Jaydong versus Harangi. Let's get into it. All right, we have in the top left here of Radeon, Jaydong. And in the top right, we have Harangi. And of course, that means that it is map 1 here in Group J. And yeah, I mean, I think I've already said it. I do think that Jaydong is pretty heavily favored here, but I'm willing to be wrong. Like, you know, a lot of these players are working on themselves. We've seen some drastic improvement across a lot of players that for many, many years were kind of stagnant. I can give a lot of examples for this, actually. Like Leda, for instance. Leda was such a technical Terran for a long time, but he really added a lot to his base and has become a much stronger player overall. He did already lose today in I forget which group it was, Group A maybe. But, you know, he's really improved himself. Ample, I think, is a great example where Ample was like such an aggressive Terran for a long time. He's really filled in a lot of that. I think he's looking great. He did already fall as well today, but day 2, I actually give him like 50% to get through. I think he's legitimately ASL level right now. And I'm hoping that Harangi might be one of these players where he kind of surprises me and plays a really, really clean Protoss versus Zerg. Well, here you can see he's taking a little bit of a risk. He's going to be going for what looks like a Nexus first. Overpool from Jaydong, so there is a timing where you can go Nexus first here and be fine. Jaydong's Overlord is going to be able to find him and decide what he wants to do. Does he want to skip Lings altogether, or does he want to try to flood some Lings and possibly get through before a cannon? We'll see here pretty shortly. Harangi getting ready for this Nexus. And gonna go ahead and start his scouting. So Jaydong can actually stop this Overlord before he shows himself and where he's at. So he sees that Nexus. He knows that's a Nexus first timing. And there's the Forge coming up from Harangi. The drone comes back because there's no reason to waste mining time. Now, are those... Yeah, those are Lings. So he's going to see if he can't wiggle in. Like, the timings on builds like this from Harangi are incredibly, incredibly tight. Like, a lot of times what happens is you actually have to pull probes, and you can block exactly long enough that the cannons finish. Like, these things are super mapped out. In fact, I would say that this is probably the most important single-player mapping you can do across all matchups is your timings for cannons in Protoss vs. Zerg. Like, it's really, really important. You know, we've mentioned it so many times on ASL Casts and Qualifier Casts and just in general. Like, for instance, Mini spends more time practicing in single player than multiplayer. Well, obviously, he plays a lot of time in multiplayer games, but I'm talking like when he's prepping for a tournament, he spends a ton of time just sitting there and mapping out timings. And, like, that can be very helpful. But, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Notice how he's blocking, and he's going to block exactly long enough to get the cannon. He actually, like... That didn't go quite as well. Like, we see this position a fair amount of the time, and sometimes no Lings will get in. But there, I think his position was a little bit off. He didn't lose any probes, which is what he was kind of going for. Maybe if you lose one, you, like, let one die. If you let two die, for sure they don't get in. Well, now one has died. We'll see how many more. He's losing some mining time here as well. Oh, be careful, be careful. Oh, good micro. Really good micro, actually. That was superb. Both sides. I love seeing both sides micro exactly how they should. It's like, oh, yep. Went as well as it could for both of you. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, that's 2 probes gone now. So you got to question, like, was the dodging of probes at the natural good enough? With the amount of lost mining time and 2 probes dying, I feel like if he had really forced the issue of holding the lings outside the base, he would have lost 2 probes, maybe a 3rd probe. And I think at this point, you got to look at it and say that probably would have been better than what we're looking at here. Not necessarily the end of the world. Jaydong has great micro. He's very good at keeping these lings alive for a long time. And just the lost mining time is kind of worth it. A lot more lings actually coming out. Oh, interesting. You know what he might do is utilize these 2 lings as a flank on the cannon. And look, the Zealot coming up. Not bad ideas. Not bad ideas here from Jaydong. Some decisive play that we're seeing for sure. Now, a Zealot is harassing this 3rd base, so he definitely needs to clear this. But will he go for that counterattack right afterwards? Ooh, I didn't know you could get 3 attacking there. I bet you if you took 1 step to the left with the Zealot, you only get 2 attacking. So Jaydong actually cleans that quicker than I thought he would. Okay, I do want to see if he's going to try something here, because, like, if you have even 2 lings in the main base, flanking the cannon can be really, really strong. And we've definitely seen games won and lost off of that. So these 2 lings have healed up quite a bit. He has the speed upgrade now. Okay, mostly drones are being made by Jaydong, so I don't think he's going to get hyper aggressive here. I think he's going to just save his lings to clean up more Zealots coming out. Is my best bet, and just kind of keep these alive. As you can see, Jaydong at about 400 APM right now. Ooh! Yeah, he's going to get it. Nice. Okay, so he loses them. He trades the 2 lings for another probe. That turned out to be a lot of damage from the 3 lings that ended up getting in. Another hatchery on the way. Definitely feels to me like Jaydong is a bit ahead. Harangui's position definitely doesn't look like unplayable or anything, though. I don't feel like this is a game where, like, this is a foregone conclusion. The only way you might feel like that is if, you know, if Harangui plays PvZ like he always has and Jaydong is feeling good today. It's like, okay, well, yeah, maybe, but you can never count someone out. ASL Qualifiers, lots of pressure there. Jaydong, of course, never has really fallen to pressure, but here he goes, bringing up these lings, kind of bringing them behind these 4 Zealots. The 4 Zealots feel like they're at actually a pretty good time here. Jaydong is making quite a few Zerglings right now, which he is going to need. Lings popping out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Decent surround there on the 1 Zealot. Wow, that was a very quick cleanup on the first Zealot. Very quick. So Evolution Chamber is coming up as well. Oh, that's an interesting... Huh. Did he just want the scout? What was that? I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, the Scourge fly out and end up dying there. Scourge have the shortest vision in the game, so I'm actually not even 100% that they saw the Templar Archives, but, I mean... Yeah, whatever it was. The Zealots try to come out. Like, this is... You have to bring them out once the Hydra start attacking them, but gets cleaned really well. Very, very methodical and nice cleanup there by Jaydong. More cannons being made, as there are quite a few units that have been fielded at this point. Hydralisk speed is done. Seems like it might be like... No, I guess he's not going to attack. Like, there's 4 cannons, or there's going to be 4 cannons there before he can really get his attack going. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure. But he is making a fair amount of Hydras here. I thought it might be like, oh, maybe he's trying to hit a pre-storm bust timing, that type of thing. But I don't think it... I don't think he gets him with this. But it's not like he's droning right now. He's sitting there at 31 drones for quite some time. Yeah, 4 cannons. There's a High Templar behind. Doesn't seem too likely to work. Now, DT coming in with these Corsairs. Going to try to sneak him in. But yeah, too many Hydras there to really allow that to work. So good defense. Brings his Hydraling back. I guess just having this group of Hydraling did force those additional cannons and slowed these gateways just slightly. So at least that's something. Jaydong, I think he's droning a little bit more right now. I'm interested as to when he's going to take that fourth base. Oh, he does throw down another macro hatch. So that's 6 hatch. Pretty standard. Pretty standard. 6 hatch on 3 base. But I think he will take another base at this point. So what are we going up to here? That's 8 gates? 9 gates. Oh, okay. Yeah, so 9 gates here for Harangi. He's being really serious on the unit production. 9 is the most that we ever really see on 2 base. Like, that is truly full production. 8 gates is much more common. That's kind of, like, 8 gates has been the standard for a very long time. Like, you field a really big army, and then you can throw down your 3rd Nexus when you're ready. That's why we get really, really excited when we see someone like Mini go, like, 3 gates into a 3rd, where it's like, what? Stuff like that's pretty exciting. But yeah. In case you thought you were smarter than me, there's the 9th gate right there. See? I know someone's watching and was like, that's 8 gates, Artosis. Yeah. Okay, a lot of mutas coming out for Jaydong. So that's a pretty big commitment, but I think not a bad idea. There's not that many Corsairs, if I'm not mistaken. There's only 3 or 4 Corsairs. So if he can get some good snipes, that's going to be amazing for him. Yeah, only 3 Corsairs, so not too bad, not too bad. Dragoon range still on the way. Gonna have to kill at least 1 cannon here. Kind of a choked up area. He's already cleared those eggs to get through a little bit better with his rallies. Really? It's like, I mean, come on, man. You have to kill a cannon every game. Okay, so he is going to start bringing these Dragoons out. Dragoons bumping each other a little bit here. Okay, here we go. He dives in. 1, 2 gone. Not bad, I'd say. Getting 2 High Templars. He didn't really lose mutas. Like, I'm not sure exactly how many he had there. I didn't hear muta death, but maybe there was 1 or 2. But gets a couple good pickoffs. Lots of Hydras out right now. That 4th hatchery is finished. No drones down there yet. We'll see when he drones that. Adds in another healthy muta or 2. Couple Scourge coming in as well for those Corsairs. Picks off another one. Okay, loses a lot of mutas this time, but he's killed off so many High Templar. Like, a Zealot Dragoon army is kind of garbage. Like, you need splash damage with Protoss as well. You know? You're not really going to beat Terran armies, Protoss armies, or Zerg armies with just Zealot Dragoon unless you're really ahead. Unless you have a huge macro advantage, which he doesn't have. Like, he has a lot, but if you bring all of the Hydras together, they will beat this. For sure. Now, here's a little counterattack. He probably thinks there's a 3rd Nexus on the way. There's not yet, just the pylon coming up. Yeah, so go in there and cancel that out. But this is Harangi's opportunity, I think, actually. Like, maybe he can hit some sort of attack because so many are out of position. Oh, my God. He picks off another 2? No, he can't kill that one. So he kills 2 more High Templars with that. This is really bad for Harangi. No 3rd base, 1 High Templar with 1 Storm. He does have a good sized standing army with 1/1 upgrades. But as long as Jaydong just continues to macro out like Hydras, you know, you need splash damage against that. Just the critical mass gets to be too strong. Oh, man. Picks off another one. All right, Harangi, like, I love the way he's zoning everything back and roaming the map, but I don't know what the final plan is because he's so low on Size Storm. I don't think this can work. All right, he's coming in. He needs really... Oh, God, that one doesn't even have a Size Storm. There's no way. You can see how the Hydra Cloud is just absorbing, and now he's going to come in with a flank. There's, like, 1 Storm that hit those as they ran through it, and Dragoons don't do anything alone. Gonna be absolutely crushed. Well, I told you what Harangui's PVZ looked like. GG, Jaydong wins game. All right, we're going into game 2 here on Metropolis. And yeah, we have Harangi here in the top left. We had Jaydong in the top right. Pretty dominant victory. I thought the openers were decent on both sides. Jaydong outplaying him a little bit from the get-go and just continuing that onwards. Yeah. Like, again, Harangi's very good. Like, his macro's good, his mechanics are good and everything, but there's like something missing there in PVZ. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. Like, you kind of watched it there. His protection of his probes wasn't top tier. His protection of his High Templars wasn't really that good. His scouting, honestly, wasn't really that good with the Corsairs. Whereas you see some of these other guys play, like when you watch that mini game, like, is there ever a moment where Mini wasn't checking what was going on with his Corsairs? Like, the seconds after the Spire goes down, he sees it. It's like, yeah, it's completely a different level. Completely. All right, another overpool opening here from Jaydong, and it looks like it's going to be another Nexus first opening from Harangi. So the same thing. Oh, no, he actually goes Forge first here. Oh, my bad. That was a 9 pool, wasn't it? I think I misread that. I was kind of thinking of other things, but yeah, so Jaydong may be looking to catch Harangi making a mistake, but Harangi did throw down the Forge, so I think he'll be all right here. Lings are going to be a bit faster. It looks like Harangi wants to go Nexus into his cannons. We'll see if he makes 1 or 2. I think you go 1 gateway and you pull you pull some probes. I believe that's the correct way to try to hold this. 4 Lings popping, and that should be it for a little bit. So Gateway should come down, and he should pull about 4 more probes, I think, just to make sure that this holds. And Jaydong actually turned the Lings around. The thing is, he doesn't know that the Lings turned around, and he's actually not pulling anything. Maybe he has the timing down better than I thought, but either way, it doesn't matter. The Lings come back home. All right, so gas is starting to be mined here from Jaydong. Harangi has his gas going up, and third base for Jaydong down at that 3 o'clock position. Okay. So looks like just pretty normal openers on both sides. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We'll see what Jaydong wants to spend his first spurt of gas on. He's about to hit 100. So we'll see. Is it Zergling speed? Is it layer? And it was layer. Okay. Probe just kind of going back home here for Harangi. Another one. Another one zips out. Nice. Swift move there. Jaydong actually microing pretty heavily against the probe. You know, this is the beauty of StarCraft in many ways. Like, you can see as he's going after this probe, you can right-click and just follow it, and you'll kill a lot of probes. But, like, at this level, Harangi is, like, microing the probe while it goes across the map and making sure it takes short distances, and he's watching the angle the Lings are coming in. And Jaydong is using a lot of move commands, not attack move or not follow with an attack command on the probe. But you have to use the move commands. You have to get a little bit closer and then do the hit, or you'll really never kill the probe. Or it'll take like a really long time, basically, at high levels. So I love how there's all these little intricacies. Well, and then that happens. But I love all these little intricacies that we actually have, where you can kind of like utilize these skills to have better results just constantly. So he's going to clear this Zealot right away. Zealot gets a couple Ling kills. Another one trying to come up, but plenty of Lings. He's got 6 Lings here, so this one Zealot can't do anything, really. Like, 4 Lings wreck a Zealot. 6, so easy. You don't even have to lose a Ling. Little bit wasteful by Harangi. And again, like, not to pick on Harangi as a player, but, like, you can see the different levels, like even at the top of the world, because Harangi's been in a lot of ASLs, but like when you look at like a Bisu or a Mini and the way they're going to control their Zealots and the way they're going to hide them and stuff, you're never going to see an engagement like what we just saw with that one Zealot getting caught. Like, that is such a rare thing to see from the very top PvZ players. Okay, nice drone kill. That was good micro. That was well done from Harangi to get that. All right, Citadel coming up. And, well, yeah, just mostly droning. Spire on the way here for Jaydong. Looks like another macro hatchery going to go down. Templar Archives coming up for Harangi as well. Quite a few Lings out the front. It looks like he thought he might be able to get by. That's actually a funny little piece of terrain there. So, yeah, there's like this little row of rocks. They basically what they do on a lot of maps is they make it so the front wall is not completely wallable, that there's like a path in. Because otherwise, it's like, it gets a little bit too strong against Zerg if everything is fully wallable. Like, especially from Terran's point of view, it's like, oh, I can have 1 or 2 Marines as my entire defense and just sit behind a wall. You know, that type of thing. So a lot of times they'll do things like this with these maps. But that's graphically, it's like a little bit hard to tell exactly where the edge is there. So he thought there might be a little hole to get in, and there just barely wasn't. It was like, actually, based on what we saw where he tried to run in, Ghosts probably would have fit there, because Ghosts are slightly smaller than Zerglings, but the Zerglings barely did not. But that was like a very decisive play. I love seeing moves like that out of Jaydong, because that's like, in my opinion, the best way to describe peak Jaydong was he was the most decisive Zerg player in the world. Like, he would see a weakness and he would instantly jump on it, no hesitation. And that type of play is, I think, the most exciting Zerg play to watch. Whereas you look at Sulk, he's like, oh, he outthinks everyone, is invincible, sick. I prefer something like Jaydong, where it's like, damn, he saw the tiniest hole and he just jumped on it and won. That's awesome. Anyways, just a stylistic preference for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. What is your favorite Zerg style to watch? So Jaydong right now, okay, he's going to try to defend this DT, and he should be able to defend. He's got the Sunken and the Overlord. He's got a few mutas out right now as well. Ooh, I kind of like this idea. Bring the Zealots up to get the Sunken, and maybe bring your DT up at the same time. Yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. Not sure he'll get anything done because the mutas came over so quickly. Okay, 2, 3... Not bad. Oh, I thought he was getting out. Okay, not as good then. If the DT gets out to the bottom right, I'm like, okay, that was actually, I like it. With the DT dying, I actually think it was like slightly better for Jaydong. You sacrificed the 4 Zealots, you lost the DT. It wasn't that much damage. But if the DT still is like, hey, I'm out here ready to do damage, that's a whole nother level. All right, High Templars coming out. Really good probe saturation. Harangi on 59 probes is pretty insane. I will be very interested to see if he tries once again to do like a 9-gate, like kind of all-in-ish build, or does he try to expand? Looking at this game, I think you have to expand here. I don't see an easy attack route. 3 o'clock is really well defended because it's up ramps. Going into the choke doesn't seem like a good plan to me. And on 59 probes, like you take that forward choke, like if I'll circle it on the minimap, like if you stand your army here, then it defends your natural and the back ramp, and then you just have a little bit of army here, and that's like very, very defendable. So I would really like to see that out of Harangi. Like, I don't mind putting out like a little bit of pressure, like walking out here with the Archon. Well, you need more than 1 Archon and like 4 Zealots. You probably need 2 Archons here and like 8 Zealots to have like a good roaming army. Like, this is insane that he's out here with this little. That doesn't even make sense. He actually got a good hit there on the mutas, 2 good hits, so well done there. But yeah, this, like, these are the types of moves that I see Harangi make where I'm like, oh man. Like, if you have Zergs in your bracket, those are seasons you're not going to get into ASL. Okay, a lot of drones coming up for bottom right. Jaydong just droned really, really hard. 54 drones here at 10 minutes. That's pretty wild. But, you know, when you go mutas, you kind of make your opponent rely more heavily on the anti-muta tech, and they're going to have a less strong roaming army. Ooh, another good hit. But okay, decent micro from Jaydong. Back in prime Kespa days, oftentimes you'd see Archons killed without getting one hit on Mutas. Jaydong did take a little bit of damage there. Wow, those moving shots. Ooh, the storm! That was such a good storm. That was such a good storm from Harangi. That's what you need to see. He needs to move out right now against bottom right. Right this second. Bring your Corsairs. The Mutas are so low, and the Zealots might be able to run through anything down there. This is the perfect opportunity for Harangi to pick up a big advantage in this game. Why are his Corsairs so far away from this army? What were they doing going all the way back into the main base? Big mistake. This is slowing down crucial seconds. Why is he turning around? They're all red. Just go after them. As soon as you see them, go after them. Okay, breaks off a couple. I actually like that. I like breaking off a couple, bringing the rest of your army with you. That's a smart move. It doesn't even matter if he loses one or two. Like, he will explode those so quick. Okay, great attack coming up here from Harangi. Again, it could have been faster than this. Oh, my God. See, he gave Jaydong some time to actually get down here with these extra Hydras. Okay, he's going to jump on the hatchery, and he will get the hatchery, but he's going to lose the entire army. Should be able to get out with some of the Corsairs. Okay, so what I'm looking at here, because almost all the Corsairs have been killed, and Jaydong still has a million Mutas. I don't know how to explain that, guys. The mic didn't die. I don't like these are the things that you have to work on. Like it's as simple as that. You got to work on being more decisive in these positions. You need to work on having your units in position and you know, actually hurting people at these timings that open up. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose. Jaydong is now up 30 supply even though he lost that base. He's going to take complete control of this game. He's sending a ton of drones down there. It's actually too early. They're going to have to do one long-distance mining run at least. But that's okay. He's focusing on other things right now. Muta's coming in for a High Templar snipe. Wasn't quick enough to hit that storm off. Those Mutas are so low. This is the area where you actually do want to defend. Jaydong hitting both areas. And, well, this area with the amount of Zealots coming out. Oh, no, he has more coming in. Okay, Jaydong's going to kill everything at once. Yeah, this looks to me like Jaydong is just about to take a victory. I don't see any way for Harangi to hold from here. GG, Jaydong into the ASL. All right, so onwards to Group H, and this is the ultimate group as far as I am concerned ever. Let's take a look. First off, Scan. Second off, Sharp. Need I say more? Literally my two favorite players in the whole world. Good buddy Scan going up into the finals of the first day group. Awesome to see. Sharp, of course, is one of the most entertaining Terran players in the world. It looks like we actually had some crazy upsets. This was actually a super stacked group. Okay, we have Beast here, who Mihu took down. That's amazing. I'm not surprised that Scan destroyed Mihu here. There's levels to this game, bro. But Mihu taking down Beast is really, really impressive. Mihu's been working his ass off on TVZ. Xiao Shui has been winning a lot of tournaments against him in China. So you can definitely see that he has been improving a lot because Beast is no slouch. That I would love to see those games. Scan, like he's beaten some people. Park, Lotte. I know Lotte. Floss? No, I don't think I know him. But anyways, like not that hard a bracket here for Scan and taking out Mihu 2-0. Mihu plays kind of an off style in Terran vs. Terran. Not too surprised that the jack of all Terrans, Scan, was able to take him down. Looking up here, though, even bigger upsets. Kim Jin Hyung. I'm not sure who this is, but taking out Dashik, who has been in ASL, and then Saxry 2-1. This shows you how hard Zerg vs. Zerg can be. That's a tough one because Saxry, I was talking about him earlier when we were casting Killer because he's kind of in a similar spot where it's like this guy is top tier. Saxry, there is not a question in my mind that he is a top 28 player in the world. right? There's 28 players there in ASL every season. Saxry should be able to get in. I hope he gets in tomorrow. I hope he doesn't have some insane bracket again. That's a tough one. But yeah, it's going to be Sharp against Scan. Whoever wins, we should be pretty happy because that adds a great Terran player to the tournament. Let's get into it. All right, we have Scan here in the top right of Metropolis. In the bottom left, we have Sharp. This is obviously map number 2, and Sharp won game number 1. So Scan is sitting here needing to win this game to bring us to a map 3. So yeah, we'll see how this one ends up going. I think as far as Terran versus Terran goes, I actually think the base of Scan's play is slightly better than Sharp's base. Sharp plays a lot of slightly off-meta builds, and he is probably the best Terran player in the world at playing from behind in the matchup. Because he doesn't do... He's actually fixed a little bit of this, so this is a little bit of an older take on Sharp. But Sharp very oftentimes does things like Vulture Goliath openers. And generally the builds he does are a little bit more robust, where he's never going to die in the early game, but he's generally going to be a little bit behind. So like, for instance, if you open up with like a Goliath Vulture build, you're never going to die to a 3-fact Vulture. But the 3-fact Vulture is going to have an advantage. They're going to have map control, they're going to have mines everywhere, and it's kind of on you to fight back through that position. But Sharp is unbelievably good at that. He's really good with dropship play, like really, really good. And yeah, he's always been a very strong Terran versus Terran player, and it's not really for mechanical issues. You know, some of these Terran players that you see, like ladder Terrans, right? Like if you watch this channel all the time, you'll notice I talk a lot about ladder Terrans and how they'll just have like this super refined Vulture build and like get a big advantage. And a lot of the top pros don't really quite do that. Sharp is definitely in that group. So anyways, yeah, I think Scan being someone who it's hard to nail down exactly how he wants to play. He'll just kind of use the builds that he thinks are good and are going to favor him in a certain matchup or map or whatever. That makes me feel like he is a little bit advantaged. Now, Sharp, really, that was some sharp eyes he had. Scan's SCV barely entered his field of vision as he was going by, so he turned around because he knew Scan came from top right. So he was super on top of that. It was the very edge of the vision. Well done. Scan here pushes back the SCV with the double Marine. Very important to do. Don't forget that we did have that crazy meta shift where everyone was 2-facting, but it doesn't look like either player will be doing that here. I do wonder if we'll open with starports. Sharp is super not a starport guy for this matchup. Everyone will make Wraiths sometimes and starports sometimes, but that is just completely not Sharp style. Now, both of them actually get full scouts. So both of them kind of making a little mistake there with the Marines. You know, you definitely could block the scouting. Like, if you micro perfectly with the Marines, you'll block the scouting, and that wasn't the case here. Sharp going Vulture, then add-on. Scan is going double Vulture. And I think he'll probably go double Vulture add-on is my best bet. And he's going to go starport, isn't he? Yeah. Again, not surprised. That's kind of... It seems to me like that might be the metagame right now. All right, so... Yeah, add-on coming up for Scan. And yeah, he's running around right now. I believe that's a Vulture that he's about to hit Sharp with. Okay, he kills one of the Marines. Okay, he just gave away that he's going Wraith. When he... Yeah, like... Well, not 100%, but like... When a Vulture gets sacrificed targeting Marines, you always look at that and say, okay, I need an armory. Because 2 Marines don't quite kill a Wraith, but they buy you a lot of time against the Wraith. 3 Marines actually kill a Wraith. But yeah, Sharp is going to go ahead and send a couple Vultures out here. Scan out in the front a little bit with his... Yeah, he's coming up to eliminate these 2 Marines, and Scan is out of position with his Vultures, so... yeah, that's too bad. It looks like Sharp is going to be able to pick those off super fast, and he'll get the kill on the Vulture as well. I don't know why Scan went back to try to defend that. If you had all 3, if you had 2 Marines and the Vulture targeting perfectly from the beginning, the 2 Vultures still win. So the fact that he brought that in late and still did it, Scan might be a little bit nervous here, not playing up to his full level. You know, he hasn't done as many of the big tournaments as someone like Sharp, so I want to throw that out there because, you know, Sharp does not crack under pressure like ever. He's been in 2 ASL finals. He's like, how many ASLs has he missed is actually the better question. I want to say 1. Maybe he missed 2 and I just don't remember, but I can only remember specifically 1 he missed. That was a heartbreaker. He was so sad. But yeah, he is not someone that will ever flinch against anybody. Okay, so the Wraith flies around. A good scout there from Scan. Some mines being laid by Sharp. It's so funny. It's like they're actually... like, Scan is playing pretty on... What seems to be on meta right now. I think I mentioned in yesterday's video that I'm actually, because of my trip to the StarCraft 2 World Championships, my take on the Terran versus Terran meta is a little bit stale because it was one thing before I left, and it seems to have changed, but I haven't gotten caught up with that quite yet. But hopefully by the end of these qualifiers, I will be. Yeah, I feel insufficient here talking about it a little bit. Okay, so I gotta say I like where Sharp is at in this game a little bit more. It's definitely a position I'm used to. Like I used to play these openers like 100% of the time, like what Sharp is doing. So I definitely look at this and understand what this position is like for him. Like he's laying some really good mines. He actually sent Goliath out to his barracks, and that'll just kind of zone like Wraiths off. He can bring his barracks back home if he wants. It's kind of important not to lose that early. Scan is going up to 4 factory really quickly. It's a little bit more common to go up to 5, but 4 will be fine. He might just be looking towards taking a base rather than taking map control. And look at where he rotated those Goliaths to catch this Wraith. Almost. If Scan was a little bit more lazy, that could have gotten picked off. Sharp going up to 3 factory right now. Oh, he's getting into the siege tanks more quickly. It's actually a bit more common to go 4 factory from here, but... Oh, he's getting a starport as well. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, this is a little bit fresh from Sharp, actually, but Scan gets the scout off. But when you see a starport at this time, I almost feel like Scan should just start making Wraiths. But the thing is, there's already some Goliaths out, so I would understand not making Wraiths. But what is that for? It's either for Wraith or it's for dropship. And making Wraiths counters both of those. So, just throwing that out there. All right. Scan right now, clearing some of the mines out with his vultures. He moves the tanks forward a little bit as well. The mines, if you look at the mini map, you can see all the little yellow dots. That isn't from me drawing over it. Those are the mines that are showing Sharp where Scan's army is. And as these tanks intercept, he knows that there's mines in between. So Scan is going to do like kind of a random siege here. Okay, he scans right there and just clears some of the mines. He's got to be careful. Don't forget that Sharp went up and made sure that he saved this barracks. So he's got full vision of what's going on, and the mines helped him a lot as well. Okay, good move from Scan. He's kind of coming in at a funny angle where Sharp isn't able to bring his units all to bear. Positionally, this is a really interesting game right now. Scan just started his 3rd base. It starts before Sharp's finishes. So I would say Scan is still completely fine here, but Sharp still has a little bit of a lead. He's adding his factories with really good time, going up to 6 factory already. He has that starport, so he can start +2 as soon as his +1 is done, as long as he hits that science facility. +1 is being researched from Scan. That's a bit later, but that happens sometimes with Wraith openers. With Wraith openers, generally get your armory a little bit later. Okay, he's trying to maneuver around. I don't know about this. Little bit nerve-wracking here. He takes a lot of damage on his vultures, unfortunately. Okay, pops a tank there. His maneuvering is it's a little bit stressful for Sharp right now. Like, this is a big, scary army that Scan is running around the map with. And if he, like, for instance, there's 2 tanks to the bottom right of where he is. If he pops those tanks right now, that'll be really good for him. In fact, he just did. He just did it. The 2 tanks that were siege up on the side, he pushed these forward, siege them, and killed those. So really good. But here are those Wraiths. And this is why I was saying maybe you want to build Wraiths at this point. So this moment for Sharp is incredibly important. Not only did he chase away the Wraiths of Scan, but he's killing tanks and forcing this containment, this great army movement that Scan has been utilizing to go back. So Sharp like just took a game that was pretty close to even, and in fact Scan went up in workers, he had picked off additional tanks, he had map control, and those 3 Wraiths turned on its head. But the thing is, Scan's Wraith scouted that starport, so it's like you have to kind of look at it and say, okay, what is he actually going to do with this? Is it Wraith or is it dropship? And how am I going to counter this? And he just kind of did not do that part. So that's a little bit sad. Scan's still fine. He's still definitely in this. 8 workers remain in between them. So definitely a bigger army for Sharp. A lot of that is in vultures, so it's not like the strongest army you've ever seen. Scan a little bit far forward with a little bit too small of an army. Okay, brings up some more tanks from behind. Needs to target those mines down. Okay, okay, okay. Decent scuffling on both sides. Scan still is a little bit further into the map, which is good. I actually wonder what his factory count is. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 6 factory. 6 is pretty good for 3 base. 7 is optimal, but that's okay. Yeah, a little vulture run in here. This is really highly annoying. Scan has had a nice advantage as far as the SCV count goes. So he will lose most of that advantage. And also there was a scout upon his second starport. So now, you know, knowing when your opponent... Oh, that's what it was. So it was 5 factory. That was an additional starport that I saw on the minimap. So 5 factory plus 3-star Wraith. 3-star Wraith is like risky. It's risky. That is so much gas you're spending. If your opponent gets an engineering bay, make sure they have scanners on every command center. You know, make sure they have Goliath range, all that good stuff. Maybe even go into Valkyries. You know, the 3-port Wraith is going to have a hard time. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think that this game is like a big part of what's going to decide this game is how Scan utilizes this group of Wraiths he's making. It's crucially important. Okay, so a little drop here from Sharp. 1 Goliath, 3 Vulture. It's kind of an interesting group. I think the 1 Goliath is to make sure that he doesn't get cleaned up by Wraiths as easily as he would otherwise. But it looks like Scan will clean that up super, super fast, so no problems there. Sharp expanding up until 9 o'clock, and he's actually adding some starports as well. You can see, yeah, he's got that engineering bay. He's actually going into Valkyries. So yeah, this is where it gets a little dicey. And in fact, Cloak is being made, but it looks like Scan may just say, no, I'm not going to spend on Wraith. You've scouted it. He definitely has a chunk of Wraiths. Yeah, okay, so he's made 8 Wraiths. That's actually a pretty good number. That's pretty solid. You make more than that, and it's like, okay, what are we really doing? 8 will actually kill tanks really quickly. This is a really interesting position. This is actually a really good game that we're in right now. It's very hard to call who's going to win this. I think in many ways, Sharp like outplayed Scan slightly so far, but Scan's overall flow of what he's doing is very, very good. All right, he'll get cleaned up. This is kind of like a very small army he was playing with over here, so it's a little bit actually surprising that he was trying to push with like 2-3 tanks. I think sometimes Terran players think tanks are stronger than they are. As the game goes on, like, they are the strongest thing in TVT for sure, but like as the game goes on, you have to actually attack with more or move with more or reinforce with more, and you don't want smaller amounts left out. Like, this is actually still a pretty small army for this time in the game. Like, this is clearable. Yeah, but he's doing pretty good. He kills off quite a few units there. Still only +1, hopefully +2 on the way. Sharp has those 4 bases mining. Scan only on 3. This is something that Sharp's been doing. He's been getting his expansions up a bit quicker. He's really having almost a better feel as for when he is able to get his bases going. Another little 3 Vulture drop. No missile turrets out to the side. Siege tank in here and some Wraiths. Not exactly sure why the Wraiths are waiting there, but this works out for him really, really well. Doesn't take any damage. Scan trying to expand to bottom right. He does still have a bit more map control. If you look at the mini-map, a lot more brown through the center. It's mostly mines, but it at least gives him some vision. He has some tanks. Yeah, +2 is done. You can see that floating science facility down here. So yeah, he's zoned out this side of the map really, really well. Now, don't forget, both of them have multiple starports. So even though the map is getting cut in half, like, it's very likely now that we see a big dive into dropships. But if your opponent is diving into dropships and you focus more on wraiths, sometimes you can gain the advantage like that. But if a good drop gets off and controls one of these main bases, that can be tough. Like, for instance, you can see this is split. Sharp owns top left, Scan owns bottom right. If one of them drops the other main the other person is owning, suddenly the game becomes very hard for that player, and they have to make a really, really, really decisive move somewhere. So that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. Now, Sharp looks like he wants to try to break this. It's not that many tanks again. He does have that +2 attack. Some good targeting will help. Yeah, he's targeting down some of these siege tanks, critically important. Ooh, a couple vultures do sneak by there. So he might be able to kill a lot of workers. Scan, in the meantime, gets some vultures into the top left. Ooh, 9 o'clock going to get raided as well. Both of them trying to push into each other's mains. You know, if you just bring your entire army together somewhere, you'll be able to break some of these points. Like, you know, we're about 17 minutes in. Neither player is maxed out. Ooh, a very fine group of Valkyrie Wraith there. That's going to really dominate the skies a bit. We'll probably, as this goes up and clears the Wraiths of Scan, he's going to have to go slightly heavier Goliath. He's got only one Valkyrie of his own, yeah. Oh, 2 Valks. Okay. Oh, 3. Yeah, you got to target those Valkyries down pretty quickly. Oh, Scan wins the air battle. I did not expect that. I thought for sure, like, Sharp's army looked perfect for that. But really well done from Scan having those additional Valkyries out. So he dominates the air. Now, Sharp is gathering a lot of units together, and this is the thing. They're both spread a little bit thin for this stage of the game. He's going to clear this group. That's a bit painful. There's not much to the north of this. He's actually going to move over here to the east, and yeah, he'll be able to break the center pretty quickly and hold on to that center area. So at least denying mining here. Good move from Sharp. Good move from Sharp. We're in like the big unit part of the game now. You need to keep larger armies together. Dropships are completely fine, but like huge armies are going to start trying to bust each other. And the way that Sharp is playing it is just a little bit better than Scan. We don't see Scan with a mobile army reinforcing. He's got these kind of little outposts of tanks that are generally really efficient, but it doesn't matter now because there's enough bases mining. You can just run through them, and that's worth more than the units you lost. Very, very good siege. So this siege now, it's making more areas you have to defend because he's like threatening 12 o'clock and he's defending top left with that. So now for Scan, it's like, okay, maybe we want to reinforce our tanks there a little bit. Also, we need to think about, do we want dropships here? Scan on a very healthy SCV count, as is Sharp. This is a superb game. Really back and forth. Really, really good. Quite a few vultures coming out. Not sure exactly what the factory counts are on both sides. You can see Scan is down in supply, but you can hold 177 against 200. You can still hold if you've got a good spread. Generally, you want a group of tanks and whatever behind as well. Sharp bringing up that dropship with SCVs to tank some damage and maybe deal some if the splash is dealt. So he's going to clear this really, really quickly. Not much here for Scan. He has his anti-air in the general area. It looks like bottom right is going to get cleared for him. Okay, dropships coming in. Oh, yeah, this is really good from Sharp. He actually just sieges right there. So he sieges before Scan can unload. Scan was going towards bottom right, and Sharp just turned his attention to this 9 o'clock base. Quite a nice move. And GG is called. Scan not going to make it today. Hopefully on day 2. Sharp into the ASL. Hey the Group K finals is next, and it looks to be a pretty exciting one. We're going to have Effort going up against Comm, so it is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Effort, obviously a champion of ASL, the only guy in the world with a winning best-of-5 record or better against Flash. Comm, I mean, he was a champion back in Kespa days, and he is still very good. He's kind of made fun of by the other pros a little bit, but a popular streamer, and he's definitely been in good practice this year. He was #1 on the ladder a little bit before Speed started dominating the ladder before last season. Yeah, he's been practicing pretty hard. Looking at his run, yeah, not that impressive. Like, Fame is not super well known. He's an amateur Protoss player. It's whatever. This side of the bracket is a lot stronger. You can see Shuttle, Stone, and Cop. So Stone is the other guy that goes by Noob. Looks like Cop took him down 2-1, which I wouldn't normally think would happen. Cop has been one of the lower level, high level amateur Terrans, if that makes sense. So, like, if you think of amateur Terrans, people like Ride Sky, Prime, Cop would be one of these guys. There's a ton of them. And, you know, I try to point them out as we're casting stuff. But there, you know, every race has a ton of players that are like, okay, these are the good players that can beat pros sometimes, but they aren't ASL level. All right. So Cop has been around forever. And he's actually, it's just kind of funny because he's like, out of all the strong amateur Terrans, he's by far the slowest. This is the thing I think of when I think of Cop, is he's actually got like Protoss APM, which is uncommon. You might think that this is me being a hater or something, but no, like, most Protoss players are like way slower than Terran and Zerg players. He's like kind of low APM. He's like my APM basically in most of the games that I've seen of him, which is just a little bit surprising because normally to get to these high levels, you need to be a bit quicker with Terran. But yeah, took down Stone, which is pretty solid because Stone is super active all the time and generally is in good shape. And then he took down Shuttle. Well, Shuttle is a little bit of a punching bag for the very top pros, but he's very popular. He's got a great personality. He picks up really good wins from time to time. I find this very funny that Cop was able to beat Shuttle. Of course, Effort just smashed him 2-0. There would be no world in which I would expect Cop to beat Effort. But okay, yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. I would love to see this series. I would love to see this. I would actually like to see this too. I want to see Cop actually performing really, really well. Which obviously he did here, so congrats to him. But yeah, Effort versus Comm coming up. It's going to be a tough day too for Shuttle. That's something to note. Shuttle's in like pretty much every ASL. So if he doesn't make it in, that's kind of a big storyline. All right, but yeah, Effort has been in great shape basically every time we see him active. So Effort versus Comm, Zerg versus Zerg. I think it might be our first one that we've casted so far in the tournament. So let's get into it. All right, here we go. In the top right, this is Comm. He is the barcode Zerg. I don't know why they would let him play on a barcode account during ASL qualifiers. Whatever. In the bottom right, it's Effort. Yeah. Let's do it, man. Zerg versus Zerg. A 4-pool? What? Comm is 4-pooling? Who 4-pools in Zerg versus Zerg? What in the world? Okay. Okay. Okay, so if it's a 12 pool or an 11 pool here from Effort, he's going to win super easily. But if it's a hatch first, I guess, the 4 pool should have good results. Just, yeah, I never see 4 pool in Zerg vs. Zerg. It's been a long time since I've seen that. And yeah, Effort here getting his Overlord. We'll see in a second if he's going to go hatch. I can't believe he's chosen a 4 pool. Okay, 2 more drones. It looks like it's going to be hatch first to me. Yep, hatch first. Okay, so I mean, this is what you're looking for as Comm. So if he doesn't win here, then let it be known that you should never 4 pool in this matchup. Drone coming down. He's going to confirm that the hatchery is there. So this is literally best case scenario. I think once you see, if he sees the drone, if he doesn't turn the drone around in time, that might give away what's happening a little bit. Yeah, he turns it around. Oh, he dodges the overlord that was there. I wonder if you go sunken with this. Okay, he sees it. And he's... What? Why is he putting it into the overlord vision and going back? Okay, I don't know what to expect. He's making more drones. Like, he still has enough time for those larvae. Okay, yeah, so he is going to go for a sunken. Cancels that hatchery at the natural. Makes a couple sunkens of his own. Dude, 4-pull sunken rush. Holy crap. Gets enough minerals. 228 minerals here for effort. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here's the thing. Like, even if he gets those sunkens up, the sunken will kill his hatch. He needs to save drones as well. Oh no, they get glitched on top of each other. He has no money for another drone. He needs to cancel that egg. Oh, he's dead. That's it. Yeah. Everything's on that side. Yeah. Oh my god. 1-0 for Comm. Okay, we're going into game number 2. Effort here in the top right. In the bottom left, we have Comm. 4-pull sunken rush. All right, good to know. I guess it makes sense. Like, obviously where he put the sunkens down didn't make sense. Against Lings only, yeah. That would be great. Against the sunken, you're out of range and it's going to kill your hatch. Part of that was bad luck. I think he still lost anyways, even if the drones pulled correctly. But he kind of drilled the drones for a second, so they were kind of on top of each other. Then they all danced on each other and wouldn't move, so Comm was able to kill all but one drone. So yeah, that became very bad very quickly. Also, all his larvae left aligned, which you'll do if you give the larvae a command, like while they're selected with an overlord or something, they'll all go to the left side of the hatchet. He actually needed them on the right side, which you can't control. Right? They wander themselves. They pop out mostly on the bottom, but you can use, but they can pop out on the other side as well. Like, I actually don't know exactly all the math behind where larvae pop out and when. I just know that you can move them to the left side of the hatchery if you want. See, like, notice how he has his larva on the left here. The one that pops out the right there, like, I don't know. Maybe if it's like, if they're on a certain place, they'll pop out somewhere else. It's like a... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was programmed in to make the game look better. There's all sorts of little things like that. Like, units have a slight delay during attacking so that not everything will attack together, because it looks stupid. Have everything attacking together in sync all the time. Okay. Anyways, where are we at? Metropolis, game 2. Comm leads 1-0. It looks like pool first builds on both sides. This might just be like the one hatch layer play. Obviously a very popular build. Yeah. One hatch layer there for effort. One hatch layer there for Comm. Guys, you might be thinking back to effort versus action, the greatest CVZ ever played. Where they went up to like ultras and stuff. God, that was fun. That was so much fun. I want more ZVZs like that so badly. Zergling speed coming up on both sides here. One more drone for effort, so that's kind of nice. They're so far from each other, their overlords not even coming close to finding each other as of yet. Ling's gonna check over to these bases. 2 hidden Lings from Comm down at 6 o'clock. That's a very common tactic by Sulky in this matchup. Like, that's Sulky's #1 tactic that he utilizes in Zerg vs. Zerg, is he hides 2 Lings somewhere out in the map, then counterattacks with them while you guys are scuffling. See that all the time. We see that he's hidden 4 here. There is an overlord kind of in that direction, so that actually might be something that alerts effort to what's going on. Sees the little concave, the little Zergling conga line on top of the map, on top of the ramp. Gonna make maybe a zone. It's very hard to get Zerglings to stand exactly next to each other, but when you do, anything that attack moves into them, you can see he's doing it here. And see how he runs away and then runs back? it's like there's a certain length of the stride, so you have to take that into consideration. It's really hard to make them take tiny steps. I actually learned a new way to make tiny steps with Marines lately by watching Light. But anyways, this, like, you can see them line it up. If you attack into these conga lines, they're so close together that there will be Zerglings where 2 of the conga line Zerglings are attacking, but only 1 is attacking on the other one. Like, you can't get them to attack move and do it well. So he's going to open up the mineral patch to be able to get out a little bit better. Here's that counterattack from those 4 lings that were left. 3 more drones right now for effort. And yeah, so he's going to need to make a sunken. He needs to throw down a sunken right now. Perfect place for it. It looks slightly better here to me for effort. Like, he did lose a few lings up at the front, but he has enough advanced notice, and he killed those 4 lings that came, and I don't think they got anything. So, like, he has this spire coming up. He's up a drone, and he was mining more with more drones for longer. And there's just, I don't see any way for these lings to deal damage. Like, Comm's lings. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, advantage to effort. But, of course, this is not end of the game advantage. Definitely an advantage, though. And he has the static D, so the counterattack of Zerglings not going to be anywhere near as strong. Whereas if effort counterattacks with Zerglings, could be super strong. But a lot of this will come down to Mutalisk movement, Mutalisk micro, decision-making as to what you're doing with them. Like, look, see? Oh, see, if he had flown further in with 3 against 4, that's where you just lose a game. But he turns around. You got to take into consideration that travel distance. It's really hard to attack across. A lot of times in these positions, you just see both players expand. If you actually have the same position, how can you ever attack with mutas? Well, if you get your gas down low enough, sometimes what you can do is add in Scourge and go. Or it's like your opponent might have 1 more muta, but you have a bunch more Scourge. And if you get those hits, you can win. Just kind of sweeping the map, both sides. No one taking a hatch yet. There's the Scourge coming up here. Yeah, I don't think anyone has any attack potential as of yet. There's that hatchery going down. So that's kind of the recognition that neither of them can attack each other. Various matchups in StarCraft 1 and 2 have situations like this, where when a certain building goes down, you can actually see that the player understands the position better. Because it's like, basically, I talked about this lightly before, I think in some ArtosisCasts videos, where I feel like we don't have the right terminology in StarCraft or in RTS games in general. A lot of other games like chess or even fighting games have much better words to describe what you're talking about strategically. So I've started to use some of these words. For instance, I look at this position that they're in as neutral, where neither player can attack each other. And it's kind of like, okay, what do you do here in this position? I know that's not a perfect description if you're into fighting games, but like in those types of positions where it's like, okay, well, neither player's really advantaged. No one's about to attack each other. Well, the right choice here, as I mentioned before, is to make a hatchery. And Effort's done that, and Comm has not. And now Comm's coming across to attack, and it's like, well, this is effort favored. This is effort favored. We'll see if I'm right, right? Like, he should be able to hold this. And yeah, it looks like he's doing okay so far. Like, we're closer to his hatchery. I can't tell the exact number of mutas of Comm, but I think Effort's up 1. Yeah, he's up 1. Yeah, and there you go. Better understanding. GG. Tied up 1-1. All right. This will decide it. Top right, we have Comm. Bottom left, we have Effort. So, yeah, I think Effort definitely showed a much better understanding of that situation. They had basically the same amount of information. I don't know why you wouldn't just make a hatchery here when basically you hit this point where you're spending all of your gas on mutas. Well, what should you do there? attack across the map when they're spending all their gas on mutas? It literally doesn't compute. So just make the hatchery. And if one player gets a hatchery up faster, they're going to get more gas and then maybe have that advantage to attack across the map. So, yeah, I think a pretty big mistake there from Comm. We're on pole start here for game number 3, as it should be. I got to say, I am definitely rooting here for effort. Comm going to go pool first, whereas gas first for effort. So, like, effort, I would guess here, is just going to rush up to mute on one base. But, yeah, a little bit more gas will be going his way, a little bit less minerals. Yeah, that's a much quicker geyser. But yeah, effort, I think, makes the tournament a bit more fun than Comm. Comm is not someone I expect to ever get a top 4. Whereas effort, I actually, like the last ASL he was in, I was like, I think he's going to win. And he didn't, but he literally won the Advanced Star League, which was the precursor to the first ASL season. And he won the other ASL season against Flash in the finals, right? And that was, what year was that? That was the 25th anniversary of StarCraft, right? So a few years ago, or 20th anniversary? Yeah, 20th anniversary. So like a long time ago. Damn, like season 5 or something? I don't know. Whatever it was. Yeah. So effort is someone that I actually still could foresee championships in his future. His level, like when he's playing well, man, he looks as good or better than everyone. And a different style too. He's very speed based, very he's decisive. He's actually a lot like Jaydong was. Very, very kind of similar Zergs back in the day. I actually think that I like the strategies that effort employs better than what Jaydong employs. I think he's a little bit more strategic minded than Jaydong, but similar styles overall. And that's probably, yeah. So that's a lot of lings coming down from Comm. And effort gonna miss those until they run under this Overlord, and he's gonna have to turn around. Uh-oh, speed finishes. Uh-oh. Oh, this could be bad. This could be bad. He's got to bring his other lings back as well. Good control here is going to be key. You see, he's trying to run away from these lings. If you can get the same amount of lings up attacking, you can kind of fight even against speedlings, but they take better engages generally. And now he's taking a lot of damage. He's got to pull the drones. This is looking pretty good for Comm right now. There is a Sunken on the way, but he's killing a lot of lings. He really takes an advantage as far as lings go. And it doesn't look like he'll lose a drone. So very good control overall from effort for a very bad situation. Spire gets actually started first here from Comm. And yeah, the Spire goes up afterwards. Now, the one advantage that we actually do have from effort is he started his gas slot earlier, if you recall. So he's up about 150 gas. So what does that mean? That either means 4 Scourge, a Muta, and 2 Scourge a little bit quicker than your opponent, or possibly like a Flyer Carapace upgrade. So there's like a few different things that this extra gas could be spent on that could swing the game towards effort. So there's definitely some options there. I do think the position is just slightly better for Comm, but I don't know. The gas, I feel like, plays the important role more often than not. Now, he actually, Comm was making an expansion there, and then the lings came down, and he had to cancel. So that's kind of funny. That's actually a lot of lost minerals. Suddenly, I'm looking at this, and I'm going to change my stance completely. I actually think effort's got the advantage here. Yeah, he's got that extra gas. He forced a cancel, which is that is a non-trivial amount of minerals that's lost during that cancel. You know, 25% of that. He's forcing a Sunken from his opponent here. So he has to play kind of on the defensive now. Map control goes, not that map control is the biggest thing in this matchup, but map control right now goes to effort. Gonna get in and try to kill. That didn't work that well. Can he get one? Dude, he just can't get it. Oh, he gets it. Okay, just at the end. Okay, so we're down to even numbers. 1 or 2 lings on Comm side, none on effort side. They're both just gonna make mutas. So effort should have an advantage here. Same drones, and he had more gas mined. Simple. So he should be able to stay up a muta. Now, whether you can attack, don't forget, right? Like, it's a long way across the map, even for fast-flying units like Mutas. It's cross-spawn. If it was close spawn, I think this would be a little bit easier to deal with. You can see right now, he's patrolling for overlords. He's seeing if he can catch an overlord somewhere. It doesn't look like he's going to find one, though. They've all been pulled back in. Is that? Oh, no, that's a Comm overlord. Never mind. The colors are close enough that I'm like, wait a minute, let me squint here and see. All right. Very, very close game. Now, I think once again you have to look at this and say, okay, expanding soon is probably key. Like, get your gas really low and then take the expansion. Need another overlord there. Yeah, both sides need to make an overlord. You can see effort here. He's banked up a bit more minerals, and there's the expand. See, okay, I think that this is very good. Comm should be doing this too, because this is where he lost that last game, where it's like, okay, everything looks pretty even. Take your expand. And he's so far not doing that, but he could soon. Yeah, keeping that gas low. I can't really see effort losing here, right? Okay, so that's 8. Just, we really need to keep an eye on that. And I didn't notice if they were upgrading any like flyer carapace or +1 attack. I would love to see how many mutas we have right there for effort. Another muta hatching. Okay, so we have 9, 10th on the way. If he pops some Scourge, that's because he's going to attack. Okay, and that's 8. 9. That's 10. And 11th on the way. So he's going to get to a full group. So this is, yeah, there's 1 Scourge in that group. So that's still 9. 10 versus 9. Great commentary, Artosis. Thank you, Artosis. There's 10 versus 10. Obviously, like, you can go more than 11, but I think on 1 gas it doesn't make too much sense, because 11 is how much you can control well. Okay, he starts his 2nd gas. This is a crucial moment for Comm. If Comm doesn't get something done, effort runs away with this with that extra geyser. So he's got a full group. Little supply trick there from Comm. Okay, he gets the first volley, which is pretty big. Yeah, 11 versus 11. Scourge coming in, though. Scourge coming in. All comes down to control here. Oh, Comm is up 1. Oh, my God. Comm's going to win. Damn. I wonder if he had +1 carapace. That's it, though. Comm going to advance to ASL over effort. Dude, day 2 is going to be really, really stacked. GG. All right, Group L is going to be our last group for day 1. So 1 more player going to get through. Let's take a look at this bracket. First off, you can see, of course, at the front, Royal and Speed going to be playing in the finals. That is a great finals. It's good to see Speed playing well. He was taking a little bit more time off, not laddering as much. He had some wrist issues going on after last season. But it's great to see that he is in good enough shape to be in the finals here. And this is not an easy bracket. Beating Free 2-1. I think Free is a bit underrated at the moment. I actually quite like Free's play. And he's been playing pretty well overall. Like, he's one of these guys that's borderline ASL, I would say. Like, sometimes he's going to get in, sometimes not. Obviously, today and day 1, not. And Free actually took down Hani. And Hani is one of my favorite, really kind of unknown Terran players. He also goes by, like, So-So. Yeah, absolutely love Hani's play. I would have loved to see this series. That would have been a really fun one. I really appreciate both those players. PCS is actually in pretty good shape, too. A strong amateur Zerg. Looking up at the top bracket, we see that Gamo was the really strong player that Royal took out. Royal is a killer in TVZ. Comm 2 is a pretty good amateur Zerg as well, but Gamo is in a lot of ASLs, a lot. And he gets through on day 2 or day 1 very oftentimes, especially a few years ago. Not as much lately, though. He's had a harder time. He's gotten a little bit more into content production rather than focusing as much, I think, on his practice. So anyways, Royal versus Speed is actually a superb matchup. Looking at it, so Speed was in much better shape than Royal, like going into last season. After that, like I actually really liked how Royal was fixing up parts of his game. Like Royal was looking much stronger recently. Yeah, it's hard to put it exactly in words. I think also the metagame shifted towards what Royal likes anyways, which is an optimized upgrade Terran. Upgrade Terran has been kind of making a slight comeback, so I think that helps into it, but I also feel like he's been playing better. A little thing to note, and I hadn't realized this before, Royal's been the youngest guy in ASL. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, Speed. If we look at the past year, I've felt like Speed has been better in the past year, but Royal's playing well lately. So I think this is a very good matchup. I'm excited for it. So let's get into this very final match on day one. All right, we have here map number 2 on Metropolis. In the top right, we have Royal, and in the top left, we have Speed. Speed did win game 1, so a very important game coming up here for Royal as Speed leads 1-0. Yeah, wish I could have seen that first game and see what that was looking like between them, both of them. But when you... Actually, did Speed eliminate Royal last season? He might have. I remember he played like a magnificent TBT against someone on Eclipse, where he was just rotating vultures like crazy and getting damage. But you know, the difference between ladder Terrans and top pro Terrans is really crazy in this matchup, because like once you're a top pro, you play almost no TBT. No one really wants to see it, it seems. I personally love TVT, and I know there's going to be people in the channel. I love Terran versus Terran. Oh, mirror matchup Mondays, Artosis. Literally every mirror matchup does the worst. It has the worst rating of the last 10 videos every single time. Maybe if I had a Hive VZ, it wouldn't, but that would be the only way. But yeah, like just people don't like mirror matchups as much. It's not as exciting to them. But I personally am a huge fan of TVT. I think it's one of the most strategic matchups. And I love the difference between ladder Terrans and pro Terrans, where pro Terrans are like, they're almost metagaming each other, and ladder Terrans are like, here's a lot of vultures. How do you deal with that? Haha. In a lot of ways, a more brute force approach. Anyways, right now, we have Speed getting that first scout. It looks like both are factory expanding. We haven't in this tournament yet seen any of these deciding TVT matches playing out with the 2 factory play that's been so popular. Both of them going to be able to afford their factory in just a second here. Ooh, that's so annoying. I can't even tell you how annoying that is. Yeah, he delayed that by like 2-3 seconds. So their factories, yeah, his factory's barely slower, even though Royal has right side mineral patches and Royal's an optimizer. Optimizers are like very anal about having perfect resource management and mineral boosting at the beginning of the game. So that was a nice little denial with that SCV for a moment. They actually are both mining a lot of gas still, aren't they? Oh, no, they aren't. Never mind. It's not that much. I'm like a little bit too excited right now. I've had too many coffees and... Oh, it is the 2 factory. Okay. Never mind. I guess I was right. I was like, there's no way. They couldn't both be going 2 factory openers. Speed has actually banked a lot of gas, but is... Yeah, he's going for the factory. Now, there's only 1 SCV on gas, so this looks like it might just be a Vulture 2 fact, which is weird. Why? What is the thought process here? Well, I mean, it is a build that people use still. Like, you can still go 2 factory Vulture into your own expand. And, I mean, we'll see if he gets the armory as well, where you try to actually kill him with Vulture Goliath. It can work. Just not really that common. Like, it was somewhat common on the ladder to go, like, 2 factory Vulture Rally, but, like, if your opponent just makes units nonstop and doesn't make an add-on, generally you hold and you're really well ahead. Not always, but generally. Second vultures come up. Okay, 2 more vultures on the way. The barracks is going to see 2 more vultures come, and he's going to know to pull up his ramp. So he's got 3 right now. And did he make an add-on? No, he did not. And he has a second factory in the way. Speed is playing perfectly here. This should be a block 100%. Ooh, good volley, good volley, good volley. You got to get up that ramp, my man. Oh my God, has SCV killed a vulture? Pretty surprising there. Better micro from Speed without doubt. Like, you have to be so decisive and just nail everything. Like, you can't let an SCV come up and help. You know, you need to target down Marines really quickly. That type of thing. Marines have higher DPS, so and only take 2 shots to kill. So, like, you have to remove them immediately. Good SCV pull here from Speed. He is taking a little bit of damage here and there. But don't forget, he has 2 factories. He never got an add-on, so he's just making units non-stop here. Oh. Doesn't quite get the repair. Oh, a little bit of misfiring here. He should have picked that off a lot earlier. Okay, so Royal leads by 3 SCVs, but he hasn't started his command center yet. Oh my God, he never got an armory, and he's got 300 gas? He's going double add-on now. So he's going to try to go into tanks probably with Vulture upgrades is my best bet. But Speed is going to get 2 Goliaths out and immediately push this all back. Okay, there's a little bit of play here from Royal because there's no add-ons from Speed yet. But if Speed adds a starport, I feel like a starport here would be really, really, really strong. We'll see what he ends up doing. Oh my God, he's still... So he must be counterattacking. If he's making 6 Goliaths, he has to counterattack. He should literally go right now. Just let your other 2 Goliaths defend your home base. Ooh. Dude, that's crazy. He actually anticipated that little vulture, like, bleeding off a few vultures and sending them around, and he had a vulture waiting for that. That was really high level from Speed. But the thing is, there's 2 tanks out now. So, like, Goliath doesn't do well against tank. Like, you can do it. He's still not getting add-ons. Like, if you sit back really defensively from Royal here, you can come back in this game. But you have to sit back really defensively. That landed barracks is actually screwing up everything. Oh, God. The landed barracks just killed a siege tank, basically. That was really well done. And now we do get that Vulture counterattack. Damn, this game. We have a lot going on in this game. Okay, so a couple things. First off, we still see no add-ons. He's going like four factory Goliath. Oh my God, and he's diving so hard. And you have to dive in and trade over and over with this. Oh my God, just barely got it. Yeah, so you have to dive in over and over and just continually trade because Goliaths very early in the game actually beat tanks. But you hit a critical mass of tanks really, really quickly. Like, when you get 5 tanks or so, like, Goliaths can't do anything anymore. Like, you start to smash their face. Like, but here's the thing. These are all low as well. Like, he hasn't been able to repair. Oh, my God. Anyways, I'm like, there's too much action here. I can't explain to you guys the deep intricacies of going 4 factory Goliath against 2 factory siege tank, which is actually hilariously a position I run into all the time in the ladder. But like, the Goliaths need to super, super aggressively trade. And the thing is, if you just stay on the Goliaths forever and they just keep making siege tanks, you have all these Goliaths that aren't going to trade out well. So like, they get worth less and less. Like, if you're also a StarCraft 2 fan, think of the Goliaths in this situation as like roaches. It's like, yeah, you can make a lot of roaches, but eventually they aren't going to be worth anything. Like, they don't scale well. All right, so more Goliaths coming out still. Starport on the way. He should just add on, like, at least 2 add-ons. 2 to 3 add-ons. Those tanks are very poorly placed. I would try to run in there if I were him. I'd say, screw it, let's go. I'd land that first. Very good run-in from Speed. I don't know why Royal has those units up in the front. Okay, Speed is pushed back. Ah! Yeah, you can kind of see how the tanks have already started to swing this, even though he was caught off guard completely. Just tanks are so good in this situation. Oh my god, a fire bat. A fire bat in TVT. I'll never hear the end of it. Come on! Oh, he's microing over here. Like, you have such an opportunity, bro. Oh my god, the mind drag with the Goliath. What a Protoss player. Making suboptimal units and attack moving over and over. This is a crazy game. This is a crazy game that we're looking at right now. You don't see this at the pro level that often. Although, again, on the ladder, it'll be a surprising amount of time you run into weird situations like this. People play pretty cheesy on the ladder in TVT. Double starport coming up. So this is a really kind of funny situation with the double starport. So what I think is happening here is Royal is looking at the situation and saying he needs to switch to tanks now. This isn't working anymore. And so I'm going to catch him. He's going to lose enough Goliaths. I'm going to catch him with the Wraith switch and smash him. Because it's actually like counterintuitive, right? Your opponent has all these units that destroy Wraiths. So why would you do that? Oh my god, he's floating the Barracks over near the starport. So he's actually just going to see that anyways. Oh my god. And the thing is, he has plenty right now, but you will eventually lose these Goliaths. Like, you will continue to trade these aggressively because you don't really need them. So anytime you see an opportunity to utilize them, you try to. Wow, Royal getting a lot of SCVs here. Holy crap. That is so much more damage than ever should have been dealt. Okay. Royal with a good lead. Oh my god, he took bottom right? I never even saw that. What? What? That base would be so easy to kill if you knew it was there. Some mines being laid for anti-drop. Very common to follow up with drops when you go Mass Goliath like this, because they're very good in drop form. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Catches a Wraith. Pretty worthwhile so far. I like the sacrificial Goliath to get rid of the mines. If he hits bottom right, if he happens to fly through bottom right, there's no reason to, because you would never expect he snuck a base right now. Okay, so where are we at? Mass Goliath tank over here. The 2-port didn't do really anything. Okay, he's going to load up 4 Goliaths, 2 tanks. That's a pretty strong little drop for this portion of the game. I really like Royal's position a bit more. Like, he's already got that additional gas. I guess maybe... Well, hold on. There's not that many units, really. You know, he spent a lot of money getting those extra starports up. He's trying to been producing a lot of tanks and everything. Oh my god. Cancel the command center out. Bad news right now. Bad news. If he didn't have that bottom right, I'd be calling it. But the bottom right definitely kind of keeping him in this game. All right, going to have to pull back. Good unit movement here by Royal, but does he have anything to actually clear this? Okay, it does have 1 siege tank behind, so that's good. Got to kind of fight with your SCVs here a little bit as well. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Okay, the SCV's coming up. Like he will clear this. The SCV count goes back to even. Another couple SCVs might fall. Oof. Royal doing a great job denying that base and still has that bottom right mining, man. It's really keeping him in this. And in fact, I think we have to look at this and say that Royal's winning. Yeah. Another port coming up here for speed. That's a lot of gas to try to go 2-port Wraith on 2 base right now. Oh! Yeah, Royal is starting to really clean up here. A couple more Wraiths coming out. It's interesting to see his Wraith usage this game, because there was just so many Goliaths, but he's still kind of making them a little bit helpful. Pretty impressive. And now he's making even more as the Goliath count starts to shrink a little bit, and you know that Speed wants to make more siege tanks. He still has a lot of them, though. Kind of an ugly clear there, but a clear is a clear. Looks like another base going to be taken there at 9 o'clock from Royal. Royal's just continuing to be as annoying as possible. All right, the Cloaked Wraiths getting some counterplay here from Speed. A couple more factories coming up for Royal. Not sure what Royal really has in terms of anti-air, right? He's been mostly just making Wraiths. Doesn't really have any Goliaths on the map. Ooh, Vulture's finding that 9 o'clock base. Still nothing finding bottom right. Speed's going to look at this game afterwards and just kick himself for never checking bottom right. He could have been very far ahead in this game. Royal doing such a good job, though. Okay, Valkyrie comes out and will help to clear the rest of these Wraiths. Some long-distance mining as the Burning Command Center floats in. Okay, slight SCV advantage for Speed. Definitely mining advantage for Royal. Royal with more units as well. Not sure what the actual siege tank numbers are, though. Sometimes the supply is deceiving because of the amount of vultures. But seems like he has a few more siege tanks as well. Yeah, look at the number of Goliaths on the other side. The Goliaths are kind of like... They're similar to vultures at this point in the game, where it's like, okay, you know, obviously a little bit better, a little bit more useful, a little bit more tanky, a little bit more damage. They can help, you know, stop wraiths and things as well. But really at this point, like, siege tank count is the king of everything. The siege tanks start to clear everything. When you start getting your 150 supply, siege tanks just, they destroy. +2 is done there for Royal. I actually didn't notice for Speed if he has it. Yeah, +0. Oh my god. Speed is in a lot of trouble here. +2 against +0 is night and day. I think from here, like, you see, Royal has a pretty decent line in the center. This 12 o'clock base he is having a hard time keeping. I think he probably can regain control of that. The thing is, he has 9 up. He has bottom right up. So if he's just with this +2, I would like to see him add a few dropships. You know, just mass up for a minute and try to break through the center somewhere. Like, it seems like Speed is spread a little bit thin for his actual siege tank count. Yeah, see, he's losing tanks here and there, too. Another base goes up for Royal. Really, really looking right now like Royal is going to be able to win this game. Okay, Royal looking... I'm not sure what that move is. Up through the center. Doesn't look that good. Little Vulture run by into 9 o'clock. Very good move. Okay, he finally finds bottom right. If this was ASL, we'd have a player cam and he'd be like, oh, shaking his head. Yeah, the single Vulture definitely going to deal some damage, but see if that's going to be enough. Royal trying to hold on here, but more Vultures for Speed. So Speed is actually going to end up getting a lot of SCVs over here. Oh my god, 8 kills already on that one. So he just cleared most of the SCVs at 9, and now he's going to clear most of the SCVs here in the bottom right as well. And he knows all about it. So this is like a really good moment for Speed. Is Speed expanding to 12? That is a wild spot. Oh my god, he made 11 wraiths? Not expected. Oh, if he gets those drop ships. This really, a moment ago, looked to me like a huge victory for Royal, but Speed is making it really close, killing all those SCVs and coming out with these wraiths. Things are falling apart a little bit here. He's still got superior upgrades. His economy is still at least around even. Maybe it'll be back ahead in a minute after he gets a few more SCVs to bottom right. Okay, diving in, he's taking out 4 dropships. Oh my god, so worth, so worth. Moving forward now with some tanks and Goliaths. Okay, oh my gosh. The Valkyries clear that so hard. But not that many units up at the front here for Royal. Dude, he's on only +1 against +2. Royal had so many advantages here. But Speed is in the natural. It's looking a little bit rough. So I think Speed right now needs to get Royal right now needs to get a bunch of dropships being made. Cut off the losses, like just siege up on his high ground here, reinforce bottom right maybe a little tiny bit, and then try to do a mass drop somewhere. Because right now, like, Speed is taking control of this game. Keeping you contained like this, like, you just have to get a big group of dropships. On the side of Speed, I think he should add, like, maybe a couple Valkyries and go into Wraith. Or, you know what, just throwing down missile turrets, like a lot of missile turrets would be really good as well. Because I think from here, like, you're probably going dropship. Okay, he's got a lot of SCVs at that bottom right, so that's good. A couple cloaked wraiths going to come up to help clear this. You know what? He never moved in and actually killed off this natural, so that's good. Oh, a couple counter wraiths. Oh, no. Valkyrie's so strong. Okay, good play here from Speed. He takes out the Wraiths. So even though he loses his Wraiths, taking out those Wraiths, no more damage to his tanks. Valkyrie's not going to do much else other than clear the air. This base not mining. Bottom right, though, still has really good mining going on for Royal. Bunch of vultures rotating the bottom of the map. Not sure what they're going to be looking for. Going to clear bottom left, it looks like. Maybe set up some more expansions for himself. All right, that harassment gets cleared pretty quickly. Dropships on the way for Speed. What a crazy TVT. One of the better games in the qualifiers so far, for sure. Quite back and forth. Like, this is... It's pretty close. Like, I think right at this second, it's almost even, like maybe slight advantage Speed, because we saw he had those dropships. So I think how he utilizes those dropships is going to be the most important part of this right now. But, like, he's killed SCVs a ton of times. He has a bit more map control. He has a lot more fluidity of where he can go at the moment. And then loses a ton of vultures here. Nice block there from Royal. Really nice block. Where are those dropships, though? Am I crazy? Where the... Like, we saw at least 3 dropships. Anyways, he's attacking through the center. Good-sized army. Only has that +1 still. Of course, +2 makes you 2-shot tanks with siege tanks. Oh, he accidentally attacked his own... No, he's repairing it. Never mind. Sometimes you do that. Clicking around real quick. Speed, definitely going to have to think about more bases. We see is taking bottom left. Yeah, we just saw the dropships there. I feel like there's a huge opportunity for doing a little drop in bottom right. Doesn't even have to be a massive drop. Just something to, like, kind of deny some mining. There's not a ton of units down there. There's only a handful of siege tanks. Like, I think there's 3 tanks there total. So I'd love to see 2-3 dropships just deny some mining on bottom right and then maybe do a big move somewhere. When you combine 2 moves in TVT, it's way more successful. Really, I guess any matchup that can be a general rule. Okay, notice how he's moving the Valks down here? I think he realizes, yeah, look at the dropship count. This is why I think Speed has the little edge here, even though Royal has more of the map set up. And if he stays kind of defensive and he can, like, deny 6 o'clock from being taken, like, this is definitely a very winnable game. But those drop ships are really going to be something that could decide it. Now, the Valkyries are kind of roaming bottom right-ish. I can see them moving to that bottom right natural right now. If he catches the dropships, not that Valkyries kill dropships particularly fast, but if he can deny the dropships one time, I think Royal can win this game. Okay, you see that scan? That was insane. And he turns around. Okay. That was maybe a little bit greedy going that far out to meet them. That was an excellent scan finding them, though. I guess he does have one mine in that area, so maybe that helped, and he wanted to double check what was there. Okay, he flies over that one mine again. Royal sees it. Royal's mirroring with his Valkyries. But that one mine is giving him so much intel. That is insane how much one spider mine is doing this game for Royal. Dropship's having a hard time finding anywhere to go in. Big bank coming up here for Royal. He's supply blocked. It's kind of funny at 170. Not something you see every day. Crazy game right now. Don't forget, one of these guys does not qualify today. This is a qualification match. Speed up 1-0. If this drop gets off really well, Speed's going to be in ASL. If these Valkyries kind of catch it, well, it doesn't end the game if he kills that drop. It doesn't. The game doesn't end. Like, Royal, I think, probably takes an advantage there, but it's not like Speed just leaves or something. Like, Speed's setting up all the bottom left. He's got the center, which I wasn't even thinking about. So it's a much more, it is still more quality position for Speed. But Royal opens up the opportunity of pushing through some of this, maybe taking center back. If he can take center in 12 or 6, then that turns into a win really quick. Okay, here comes the drops. He's just going to utilize this to clear tanks. Can't find anything better than that. A lot of Goliaths in there. Okay. I can't say anything negative about that. I think that was a fine choice. Oh, God. Where's the units here? 2 tanks on high ground? Is that it? Oh, my God. This looks just like when Speed eliminated Sharp in ASL last season. Exactly the same type of drop in the same position. Okay. That is bad news for Royal. Royal's going to try to push center during this. He's losing bottom right. He needs to have big gains. Pushing center and maybe hitting like 3 or even trying to attack top left. Those could be good moves. But there's too many tanks here with +2 now. Speed seems to be holding everything. Breaking bottom right. Royal sending down more tanks. Maybe going to try again to break center. All right, so Royal does take over center of the base, but bottom right 2 bases are worth so much more than center right now. I think, like, Speed won't care at all. Like, if he can hold just bottom left main and deny bottom right main and natural, that's better than center. But maybe Royal behind this line, maybe he can take center, clear to the south, take 6, and then eventually clear to the right. Like, clear those units that had been dropped on him in the bottom right. Like, eventually clear that, eventually take those bases. You don't necessarily need to mine them right away. He is a little bit low on supplies, a little bit low on SCVs. He's a little bit low on bank. He's got good tools to use. A lot of dropships coming down for Speed. Good reinforcement. Very good choice. Again, just holding bottom left and denying bottom right is gigantic. All right, Royal going to try to push into this base that was originally his. Looks like it's going to be successful. What a fight this game. What a fight we're looking at. More units rallying up here from Speed. He does not want to give up this base. It is getting lower on minerals, but still a worthwhile base to fight over. All right, loading up quite a bit. Speed getting ready to try to bust something here. So he's up almost 30 workers. So the real supply here, like supply-wise, it's like a 164 army against a 200 army. Like, technically, Royal can be okay with that if he's got good positioning. But, like, here, this is not enough. He's going to break this pretty quickly. More units are coming up. Oh, I didn't see those tanks to the south. So, actually, he might just hold. Maybe this fortified position up at the top holds a little bit for speed. But, yeah, plenty for Royal. Plenty for Royal. Sometimes you don't see, you know, the tanks have a long, long range, especially if you look north-south on the screen. East-west, on widescreen, you can see the tanks that can shoot each other. That's not true north-south. And, in fact, that's why widescreen is better for Terran than 4x3. 4x3 is actually better for Zerg. But, yeah, the widescreen is very important, and those north-south positions can get really, really dicey because you can't necessarily see the tanks on your screen that could be attacking you, which is what we just saw right there. All right, a few dropships here from Royal. Obviously, 4 dropships against like 8 is not a greatly favorable position. If those are all full, he will be able to break this. But sometimes you're flying around with unfull dropships. See? Hey, this is a really good moment. He's doing to the bottom left what was done to him in the bottom right. Well, hasn't completely shut this down, though. Gonna lift up and try to go up here to break. Ooh, this is a good pullback. This is really well done. 4 more dropships coming in as well. Dude, Royal's playing out of his mind right now. He is playing out of his mind. Look at this. He's taking control of bottom left. Oh, flies over some of these rallying Goliaths. That's unfortunate. Not going to be able to reinforce that very easily. Okay, what is speed mining from? 6. That's it. Royal's mining from 9. That's it. Oh my god, they're both down to 1 base. If I had to guess, Royal's gonna maybe be able to take center back. Oh no, these 2 tanks down here. This is actually a bit of a problem. Okay, not as bad as I thought. This game is absolutely bonkers. They're on like the same amount of supply, the same amount of workers, the same amount of mining bases. They both have at least +2 attack upgrade, which is really the upgrade that matters the most times a million. A little bit more bank here for speed. He has a little bit more flexibility, I guess, with what he can build. Ooh, good defensive position there from Royal. Speed trying to break center. Someone needs another base. Like, if someone gets another base mining, they are going to be really far ahead, but this looks so difficult to do. Okay, a reinforcement coming down here from speed onto 6 o'clock. Royal's trying to break it right now. Not sure if that's going to work out. Yeah. Loses a few units trying to push. It might be time to try to clear out bottom right again for Royal. But that's, like, hard to defend. Do you give up the center completely to defend bottom right? Or do you keep battling for center? Yeah, he has a lot of units over here. Even a single Wraith right now could make a huge difference, by the way. Sometimes you get these weird stranded positions where there's like 1 Goliath, or, well, he just walked into a mine with it, so there's no Goliaths now. But like 1 Wraith would literally clear that. It's wild, the strange things that can happen in TVT if you lose the wrong units. Or kill the right units, I guess, is a more positive way to look at it. Okay, speed is really doubling down on taking center. Oh, Royal a little bit sloppy moving through there. He's got a nice arc of units. He only needs to push a couple tanks back to control the patches and the gas. Yeah, it looks like that's mostly what he's doing. Maybe moving a little bit too far forward. You don't need to break everything unless, well, he might be like, I want to mine from here, as opposed to I want to deny this. Royal's supply is really low after that. What does speed have in supply that's 124? Because their workers are about the same. Where's his 124 army? Oh, okay. He still has like 5, 6 dropships, so that's like 10 of the supply. Oh, 4 Wraiths. I love the Wraiths, like I mentioned before. Those are going to be useful once again. You don't really have money for Goliaths. Yeah, he's going to clear up a lot. Oh, gosh. Bottom left is empty now. He's checking, but it is empty. He actually needs some Goliaths out to the center. So Royal's taken center. He's the first one to get a new base, but there's no anti-air here. So the Wraiths can actually fly up and ruin his day. Cloaks, nothing there, though. Yeah, clears one tank. He is definitely going to get quite a few more. Ooh, moving in from the sides as well. Going to deny some more mining here in the center. Speed floating his own command center. And that's it. Speed gonna take it 2-0 and qualify for ASL. All right, so that finishes up the first day of qualifications. Here are the players that have qualified here in the second half of day one. Mong, Jaydong, Sharp, Comm, Speed. We have a lot of very strong players that didn't make it through. Royal, JYJ, Bisu. You know, Larva didn't make it through. Sock didn't make it through. A lot of really, really, really strong players. So, yeah, it's going to be an insane game number 2. Make sure you tune in. Spread the word. ASL has started, and more qualifiers to come. So, a big congrats to these players that have gone on so far. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, all those great things. And we'll see you next time.